peace, love, and prosperity that Earth. This is Abdul Bay of AMPAG. I began the recording a little late. It was my intentions to get the good brother Stanley Bay. Yes. So we missed the introduction. I just introduced the Assistant Consul General of AMPAG as one of the teachers of AMPAG Media. He's going to be assisting me as a teacher with or presenter with AMPAG Media. Understanding that is the more public narration for AMPAG is the videographer and the editor of that video. Anyone who needs that as their public information, perhaps you can reach out to him. And I was also point out that created or a website for their state. You see what's going on is different. All right, good. It popped back up. There's a storm out here in AMPAG's jurisdiction, which is Georgia. Ante, Georgia. Before Georgia, we've reclaimed Georgia. So it's AMPAG now. And there's a storm going on out here, and it's knocking out power and internet and all kinds of stuff. Brother Stanley was supposed to lead the whole class today with the reference points on the screen, as we always do, but he lost power at his house because of the storm. So Islam. So today what we'll be doing is going over, so it'll be a little different today. Usually we pull articles from the Google search engine to discuss different matters. And obviously we always, when we're talking about international law, any type of covenant, treaty, or agreement, we always put that on the screen as a reference point so we can have the discussion. Today we'll be diving into a book, chapter 2. Let me share the screen here. Where is it? Here we go. So the book is called Principles of Political Science, Cornell University Library, Fisk Endowment Fund, Willard Fisk. And we'll be going into chapter 12, but let's go to the table of contents real quick so you can take a look at it. This book is available for anyone to grab, and it's highly recommended by Brother Stanley. I've never read it, but I did skim through it here today prior to the class. Let's go to the table of contents so we can see what's in it. Okay, so chapter 1 is the introductory, the name and scope of the science, the methods of the science. And 3 is the relations of political science to allied sciences. Chapter 2 is what we'll be going into. The nature of the state, right? Definition of the state, the essential elements of the state, state government, or should I say state, government, nation, nationality. So as you see within this book, just with the table of content, which obviously is telling you these are the titles of the different sections within each chapter. Section 3, which obviously falls on page 28. Look at what it says. It says state, it says government, it says nation, and then it says nationality. What does that tell you, Morris? Nationality comes after you establish your state, your government, and your nation.
In that order.
What was that?
I said in that order.
In that order. So when Moors say nationality is the order of the day, we got to qualify that. What does that mean? What are you saying with that? How is nationality the order of the day? Moors would purchase a nationality card from somewhere like RV Bay or something, right? And get the name correction and the judicial proclamation and deposit it or put it on the record with 7 locations of the United States, the seven different offices or officers, competent authorities of the United States. And that process is considered nationalization. That process is considered that you're nationalized. That process is considered that you're now a Moorish national. Or you go to the temple, get you a nationality card, and now you're a national. These are incompetent acts. These are incompetent political acts, because what you're attempting to do is a political act if you're trying to reestablish your nationality. But what Prophet Abu Ali said, he said to come back into the constitutional fold of government. Well, how you come back into the constitutional fold of government? Can somebody tell me, how do you come back into the constitutional fold of government? I yield the floor for that. That's a real question. I'd like for someone to answer. Anyone?
Got to establish a state constitution.
There you go. You come back into the constitutional fold of government by writing a constitution. Since the prophet said that till today, who has ever written a constitution? We stand on the divine laws, the divine constitution and bylaws. Okay, fair enough. Brother C. Cannon Bay of USAR, he created a constitution for USAR. The problem with that is he deposited with the Secretary of State of Illinois. That makes you a charter. That makes you subject to the state of Illinois. I mean, you went to Illinois for permission, didn't you? You deposited your constitution with them. But the egregious part is the name of your state. And I'm not bashing the brother, because I actually like him. I've spoken to him, and I think he means. I really believe that he means well. He does not come across in no way, shape, form, or fashion as a dirty Moor or someone who has some ill intent for the Moors. He has the right intent. It's just the improper process, right? But you can't name your state United States of America Republic. That's a violation, man. The United States of America Republic never belonged to us. I don't know why Moors keep thinking that. We know that it was the British who established the United States of America. The British Moors. If it was a Moor who established the United States, if the United States belonged to any group of Moors, that's the British. We're Moroccans. Nowhere in the Prophet's literature did he ever say that we were British or Brutish. He said that we're Moroccans in many ways. Even in question number 15, where he says that we're descendants of Moroccans born in America. What he's saying is that we were born in American jurisdiction. But if you go to question 31, he tells you that the ancient name of the Moabites is Moroccans. You go to the Circle 7 Quran, chapter 47, he tells you that the Moabites are the true possessors and founders of the present Moroccan Empire. That would make you Moroccan. Duh. What's the problem? Why are we having a problem with this? So that means that the Treaty of Peace and Friendship is between the Moroccans and the Americans. The United States of America came over here seeking asylum, seeking protections from the Moors. And the Sultan Sidi Muhammad gave it to them, offered it to them by recognizing their constitution as the American Constitution, which means they are the Americans, we are the Moroccans. So therefore, you should not be naming your state the United States of America nothing. That has nothing to do with you. You're not a party to that. You're a party to the Moroccan Empire. So why would you? So let me ask the Moors, and this is a real question I'm really asking, that I'd like for you all someone to answer. It's an easy question. What do you prefer? What's most sensible? A little country or a vast empire? I'm waiting for the answer.
Empire.
Vast empire.
I'm inclined to like empires personally. I think that feels better. It feels like what we deserve.
It's not even what it feels like. It is what it is. We are of the empire. We're not of this United States of America country, or state, or colony. So you mean to tell me that you was part of the 13 colonies, huh? Because the 13 colonies is what evolved to become the United States of America. So you was one of the 13 colony citizens then, huh? So who was George Washington talking about when he said that he regrets the hostilities with all those agencies or regencies? He's talking about the Moors when he said those regencies, those hostile regencies, What hostile regencies is he referring to? The Moroccan pirates who were seizing their ships, taxing them on sight. So while this was happening, you was one of the Americans, huh? You was part of the 13 colonies. Come on. Common sense, not nonsense. We're Moroccans. So as you see here, state, government, nation, nationality. So your state and your government recognizes your nationality through the Constitution. So nationality is the order of the day, no doubt. But you cannot have your nationality without the state. So in all actuality, the proper term should have been statehood is the order of the day, because the statehood sets up your nationality. It recognizes your nationality. It recognizes your bay. They're telling the colonists, my name is not Abdul Smith, it's Abdul Bey. Well, in their records, in their registry, you're not recognized as Abdul Bey. You're recognized as Abdul Smith. Or whatever, Kendrick Bey. Or should I say Kendrick Johnson? Let's use that. How do you become Kendrick Bey? Well, your state recognizes your Kendrick Bey. It's put on their registry. It's just that simple. We've been doing things wrong. Like the good brother was saying earlier, we get stuck on one ideology and we run with it. Who else said that? Somebody please tell me who else said that. We come on. Y'all know who said it. Who else said that we get stuck in ideology and won't let go? In so many words. Let's think about it. Any of you old Moors who's been part of the Moorish American movement, you should know that answer.
I was gonna say the prophet.
Exactly, but what was the
Marcus Garvey.
No, it was Noble Ali. He's right.
Yeah, it was the prophet, but he didn't say it in that way.
Exactly.
He said you Moors stiff head.
Okay. I was looking for that one.
I can't get it but I know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, he said that you're stiff-headed, hard necks who won't do nothing until the point of a sword.
Exactly.
But then he also said that most like to cling to principles that delude to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point that I was making. That's the statement that I was going for. We cling to principles that delude to slavery.
I.e. European psychology.
That's right. So anyhow, continuing on, nationality as a factor in practical politics. Or should I go before that? The elements of nationality. We'll be touching that. Nationality as a factor in practical politics. One nationality, one state. So you see, that's the problem with the blackamoors. I don't want to call my people black people, Negroes, coloreds. I just call them blackamoors, right? All black people, Moorish Americans, all unless you're a national, you're either a blackamoor or really your proper status is more a subject. But black people, they have a whole lot of identities. First, the normal stuff: Negro, black, colored, African American, Moorish American, Hebrew Israelite, Pan-African, Indian, etc. But what did I just highlight? One nationality, one state. Well, see, that's why they have so many different identities, because they don't have a state. We ain't never had no states. We've been always stateless under the protections of the United States, dealing with a bunch of nom de guerres, a whole bunch of misnomers in regards to our national identity. So we never had one nationality in one state. Islam, brother, go ahead.
Yeah, Islam, quick interjection. Just want to
you just interject.
Elaborate on that. Well, the issue with that is why the FBI is able to classify us as sovereign citizens. Okay, because of the chaotic information that we present. You have 5,000 Moors presenting 5,000 different ID cards. And coming from all these different places, there is no one state, one nationality. So that allows them to put us in a category with a sovereign citizen. That's where that comes from. I yield, Islam.
Islam, brother, you just interject. That's right. We don't have state protections from our own people. We say the Moorish nation. I'm of the Moorish nation. Qualify that. Prove it. What nation? What's the name of the nation? What's the name of the state? Tell me the name of the head of state. If you get in trouble, who do you call on? Who's your consul general? If you can't answer these questions, then that's an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's not based in truth. It's based in the abstract. It's just what you're saying. But it's not exactly the truth of what it really is. Can you say that we're a nation of people? Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to add that part of this is to clear up the misconceptions that a lot of Moors have been learning from the misguided teachers throughout the past few decades. As the brother just mentioned, the sovereign citizen thing, which kind of got blended into the Moorish movement somehow in the 90s and led essentially everybody astray. But Moors, according to certain scholars, at least that I've heard, are under the mindset that they, as individuals, are the government.
Right.
Literally, I've seen videos of Moors in court telling the judge, I am this, that, and the third official of whatever, and they wonder why they get slapped upside the head. You know, even the what do you call it? Even the treaty talked about having a consul present.
Right.
You know, so how how is that going to work if you're the government?
Right.
You know, so yeah, a part of this is to clear up that misconception that unfortunately a lot of us have been indoctrinated with, you know. But yeah, you can.
It's not we don't need a state. It's a state of mind. Exactly. A nasty indoctrination that now we're trying to clean up and correct. We've already been indoctrinated by the colonists. So now we make an attempt to reject that indoctrination by coming into the Moorish movement and gain the proper understanding, and instead gain further indoctrination. Now you're double stupid. Now you're double indoctrinated. It's nasty out here with the Moors, man. And now because of that, it has caused a lot of punitive damages. Moors going to jail left and right. But let's say this, even if, you know, because you've got some Moors who've gained remedies, right? Who have, let me not say that. No Moor has ever gained any remedy, not at all. They have experienced victories in courts. Let's say it that way. It's not a remedy, it's just a victory for that moment. So what happens when you get another ticket? Right back to the courts. And you keep going back. But here's the question. When you were victorious in that one case, who did it benefit? Did it benefit your grandmother? Did it benefit your children? Did it benefit your girlfriend? It certainly didn't benefit me. So it was a selfish act, and which means that you're not uplifting fallen humanity. In order to uplift fallen humanity, you need an organized dual society, which means we all come together as one nationality, one state. The special element of us over here is the fact that we are Moroccans, which means we fall under Moroccan law, which means we get to enforce and write Moroccan laws against the foreign Americans. International law in and of itself is Moroccan law. It's a spinoff from Moroccan law. That's the beauty of what we're doing over here. And that's the beauty for us as Moroccan Moors, is that we have Moroccan law to stand on. Now, let me ask you all a question. Don't we stand on the titles El and Bey? Well, guess what? El and Beys are lawgivers and law enforcers. So where's the, like Jay asked in class 112, where is the body of laws to enforce? In order for you to give laws, you have to be able, you have to write the law. When have you ever written laws? We don't write laws. What we do is we stand on United States laws, their constitution, their Supreme Court case laws, etc. That's egregious. You ain't got no jurisdiction over me, but the Constitution says that I have the right to bear arms or the right to travel or whatever the case might be. Well, if you say that I don't have jurisdiction over you, then why are you quoting my laws, sir? And now you end up in a psychiatric evaluation because they're saying, boy, you crazy. You need to go study. But they're not going to give you the answer to the test. They haven't given us the answers to the test. They never say, oh, sir, that's incorrect. What you need to do is study international law. They don't say that to you. They just tell you you're crazy and put you through a test or just slap you upside the head like Brother Hakeem just said. One nationality, one state. You can even say one nationality, one state of mind. But see, the state is born from the state of mind. It's the state of mind of the people collectively putting together the Constitution to then establish the actual state itself, which is a legal personality that protects its nationals. A juridical person. The state is a person in international law. Continuing, the organic nature of the state. Chapter 3, the origin of the state, right? General remarks, historical formations, right? So now you're studying the historical formation of states. So if you study the historical formation of states, then you'll learn how to establish your own state. Then the prophet said to study the Europeans. We can observe what they're doing, study their legislation, and read these types of books. Why do I care about they came before Columbus? Ivan Van Sertima. No shots at the good brother, you know. It's good to know for historic, you know, for history, you know, literature and things, you know, to let you know who you are to a degree. But none of that stuff matters without your state. You can't take that book, They Came Before Columbus, or We Came, whatever the book, I forgot what it's called, something like that, right? That book is not admissible in court. The Circle 7 Quran is not admissible in court to fight your argument for decolonization. You got to use laws in court to make your argument, your legal argument, to force decolonization, to prove their extraterritoriality, to prove that they're criminals if they break. See, they're not criminals until they break your laws. Another point that Jay was making on class 112. Well, class 112 is a hell of a class. Y'all should go watch that one. Study session number 112.
Highly recommended.
Highly recommended. We gotta study. We gotta switch gears. We gotta flush all the old Moorish American misinformation and indoctrination flush it down the toilet. Garbage in the trash compactor. Drain out that dirty glass of water and start drinking that alkaline, clean, clear water. That's this here. This is the yellow brick road. These are the instructions. This is what all nations on planet Earth have been doing to force decolonization. Or should I say, at least specifically the African nations, etc. There's an article dealing with which we should probably touch on it, the Kingdom of Hawaii seeking to gain their independence. Initially, they were doing it as subjugated Hawaiians. The state of Hawaii is what they were trying to decolonize as the state of Hawaii. Well, towards the end of the article, because this movement has been going on for a couple of years, so that article is highlighting the movement. So in the beginning, it talks about how they were approaching it essentially as subjugated Hawaiians, as the state of Hawaii. When you come to the end of the article, they have come to the realization that the proper way to regain their independence is to come back as how they fell, which was the Kingdom of Hawaii. You see? One state, one nationality. The state is Kingdom of Hawaii. The nationality is Hawaiian, period. Can't do it as the state of Hawaii. The state of Hawaii is symbolic to colonialism, Morris. And they're Moors, in case you didn't know. History of the social contract theory, criticism of the social contract theory. That's something interesting to look into. The origin of the state continued, the theory of divine origin. The theory of divine origin, that's very interesting. What is our divine origin? And I'm not even talking about from time immemorial or in ancient times. I'm talking about right now. There's a new origin that has taken place. There's a new divine origin that has taken place with the establishment of the WRC in these several states. And we want all of you on the call, every last one of you on this call. It looks like there's 57 participants. Interesting. Wow. Thanks for your attendance. We would like for every last one of you to be government officials of your state, which means you'd have to establish your state. And that's what the WRC and the Trusteeship Council is here to do, is help you with that for free. You may not have heard it in a while, so I'll say it again. Knowledge is free at the WRC. Come get you some of that clean water. Islam, chapter 5, the sovereignty of the state. The various. What was that, brother? The sovereignty of the state. The sovereignty of the state. So when you say you're a sovereign, you're not a sovereign. You know what a sovereign is? If you're speaking of an individual, that would be the king, a sultan or something. He's the sovereign, and all y'all fall under his jurisdiction as subjects to the king. Well, today we don't have kings and queens anymore. You can throw that out the window. It's modern states. This modern states has replaced the kings and the queens. So the state is the sovereign. And in that state, and the sovereignty of the state is passed down to its individuals as nationals. But there is no individual national sovereign guy. Who we think we are, man? We doing too much. You just think we all that, but yet we subjugated like hell. Stop it.
Islam.
Let's humble ourselves and go study. Go ahead, brother.
On the question of sovereignty, just to add to what you were saying, Moors really have to comprehend that they themselves as individuals are not sovereign. People and the state is sovereign. Collectively, right. The people as the state is sovereign. Right? Correct. Now, that kind of ties back into what the prophet said about Moor Science Temple of America being akin to a wheel within a wheel. One could interpret that as it being a domestic, what would you say, a domestic nation, something similar to the Indian nations, right? Mm-hmm. So they themselves are not sovereign. So even if you were to say, go that route, Moors would still have to comprehend you're a wheel within a wheel. You feel me?
Yes, indeed.
But yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Islam, Mo. This wheel within the wheel, I take it to be when Prophet let us know that we are part and partial of the government. as in Act 4 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. I'm thinking, if I'm not correct, please correct me, but I'm thinking this is what prophets let us know. You understand? That we are a nation and we are sovereign, but we're operating as part and partial. Could I be wrong or could I be right? Will somebody correct me?
Yes, I'll be more than happy to. The term part and partial. All right, is my screen still sharing?
I see the paper up there, yeah.
Okay, you see Google, right? Let's try this. I ain't gonna let's speak by writing. Look at what happens. Part and parcel is what pops up. It says up here, including results for part and parcel, but I put in part and partial. Search only for part and partial. So why didn't it take me straight to part and partial? Okay. Let's do part and parcel. Go straight to the definition. You didn't see that error at the top, did you?
No.
So then what am I saying to you? The term part and partial is grammatically incorrect. It doesn't even exist in the English grammar. What you just mentioned, good brother, was the corruption of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Ooh,
Because there's another constitution out there, divine constitution and bylaws that actually says part and parcel. So which one is it? Is it part? Which one did you say, Noble? Noble Dwali, are you contradicting yourself here? Are you saying on two different documents? One you're saying they were part and partial, and the other one they were part and parcel? No, I highly doubt that the prophet was contradicting himself. What happens is the temple is sold out. The temple is corrupted. The prophet never said part and partial because that doesn't even exist in the English language. The proper term is part and parcel. The meaning of part and parcel is an essential or integral component. So what you're saying is that we are an essential or integral component to what government? So when he says this said government, then what government are we referring to? The United States of America, right? So
that's generally what one would think.
Well, that's the only other state that exists. Because if there's a Moorish state at the time of his existence, when he made that statement, tell me the name of the state. Okay. Well, at the time that he made that statement, the empire was still alive. It didn't dissolve until 1956. Let's use logic and common sense, right?
Okay.
So he would have been, if he is talking about the empire, then that's what it is, because the empire was around then. Yeah. But if you examine his definition, the meaning of part and parcel means that it's an essential or integral part or integral component. So we're not an integral component to the empire. We're just subject of Morocco. We are an essential and integral component of the United States. Because without us, they wouldn't exist.
Okay. All right.
Through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
All right.
We're married to each other. We're in a contract with one another. Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
Let me interject real quick here. I think I have no documents, but it's just coming from my inner self that the printers, whoever did the printing, was saboteurs, even in our identification card, where it says we are citizens of the USA. That was put in and wasn't supposed to be put in. And I heard about it. Matter of fact, I got a video on that about this guy that had did that to the nationality card. and putting that we all citizens of the USA in capital letters. So that put us back in the corporation.
Correct. Well, if you put us back there, we've already been there, brother.
What kept us in the corporation.
There you go. Let's remind ourselves of that. We've never left.
Oh.
Someone said that, and I'm not going to say his name, Taj Tariq Bey. He said that USA means unity, salvation, Allah. I'm the citizen of unity, salvation, Allah. What the hell?
I never. First time I heard that.
I just got done slamming his name along with Light and just sharing. I just got done slamming them yesterday on the whole live. Like I looked at everything. I was like, let me think about this for a moment. If the temples were infiltrated, because I had to pray about this thing. I got a class full of people here. I said, if the temple been infiltrated, that means that the prophets were being infiltrated, because more-ish American, and American tied us back to the British, and we ain't British, and we Moroccan, and it's Moorish Temple of Morocco. If we Moroccan, and they put in the divine constitution and bylaw more-ish, they put in the Quran more-ish, they put in everything more-ish, that means that was them niggas who did that. And if they did that, then that means all this is garbage. And if that's garbage, then where's the real stuff at? And if the real stuff is not here, then that means this is wrong. And I've been calling myself wrong, and I've been putting myself under a curse, which means the rest of us been doing that. And I was like, you know what, y'all? If these ones keep saying that they've been doing this for 30, 40 years, almost as long as I've been alive, they know the truth. Either they dumb or they agents. And something ain't right here. And if they know this is supposed to be a state first, then that means they purposely went against the grain to have us do the thing that was against still going back into their jurisdiction, having us calling ourselves one thing and then calling themselves master teachers. And I'm actually close with his so-called sister, because they've been knowing each other for like 40 some years, Dr. G. Me and her close, we tight. So I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. So I decided, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to blast all of y'all. Every last one of you, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to expose all you little demons, because all of y'all had us going the wrong direction. And meanwhile, y'all probably going to have us, y'all trying to get us hemmed up. I told everybody to stop. Just stop.
Islam, sister. And who am I speaking?
I want to thank you, because I've been struggling. My name is Brother A. Davis Bay up here in Cleveland.
Hold on one second. I was asking the sister.
Okay.
Yeah, who are you, sister? Could you please state your name for the record and the territory you're coming from?
My apologies, Islam. I'm Chung Bay. I'm from California.
Okay. Islam, sister. Well, before you go, brother, and we're getting way out from the class. We're having too many sides.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's okay. I control the narrative. I'm allowing it to go because I'm liking the way it's going. But I would like to get back to the subject. But let me make this point clear real quick, sister. Don't be afraid of the word ish. We are the Moorish people. Moorish, Moroccan, and Moor they're all synonyms. The problem we have with ish is this down here. Having a touch or trace of, having the approximate age of, something that's like, let's go to the first definition. That's why I didn't choose it. The first definition that came up, to some extent. Are you busy? But to some extent, as it relates to perhaps an age or something that you're doing, right? Now, let's go to the Merriam Dictionary and see what the first definition says. Of, relating to, or being, chiefly in adjectives, in indicating nationality or ethnic group, i.e. Danish, British, Swedish,
Scottish,
Moorish.
yeah.
But our issue is everything, the other definitions, having a touch or trace of, somewhat. No, we're Moorish because it's not based in the definition of having a touch or trace.
Okay.
Of, relating to, or being, and that adjectives indicating nationality or ethnicity. So you could use the Merriam, you could use the Webster's. Okay, let's look and see what the Webster's say. Let's see what if Webster's has the same, if there's a Webster's definition here.
Well, in Hebrew, it means man, you know, in Hebrew.
I'm talking right now. You know,
True.
it's English.
But I guess that's what I'm just talking about. That's the word it's supposed to be. I'm talking about like the etymology of the word.
So I don't see, yeah, I feel you. I don't see Webster's, but here, what is this? Collins, of or belonging to a specified nation or people.
What about Oxford?
Islam. I don't see Oxford. I'm gonna have to type in Oxford directly. Britannica.
Yeah, okay.
You want to see Britannica? Let's look and see what Britannica says.
Yeah.
So it says there, almost or approximately. The car is greenish, but it doesn't say the people are Moorish. It says the car is greenish.
Okay,
so
that's a thing.
That it is a thing. That's why there's definitions for it. But that's the point. There's several. You know how the one word can mean several different things.
Right.
Well, one of the meanings is almost or approximately. That's the meaning that we're standing on. But if I just prove to you in two different dictionaries that it also means nationality, then what are we talking about? It still means nationality.
It still
Going
means
back.
nationality. Yeah.
So Collins, I've never heard of a Collins dictionary, but even Phil Collins tells you that it's of or belonging to a specified nation or people. So why is there such a thing as the Danish, the Spanish, the Swedish? Why we don't question their ish, but we got to question our more ish? You see the trick bag? The word English has the word ish in it. Approximate of the words that we're use English. Is it Spanish? Well, there's still ish in that, but it all comes from Latin. So then English is approximate to Latin. But that still has nothing to do with national identity. So we don't need to be scared of ish. We don't need to be scared of the word of. And here, let me make this other point clear for the record, Moors. We're coming into power. We must recognize our power. What does that mean? In our jurisdiction, we define words. Their jurisdiction might say, every single definition for ish could say approximate. Okay, well, in our jurisdiction, ish means nationality. How you like them apples? In our jurisdiction, licensing means an act against the people because you can't convert a crime, etc.
Okay.
Whatever we define it to be within your territory, within your jurisdiction of your state,
Yeah.
your legislation determines what you say it is. We're coming back into power, but then let's stand on power. And I heard everything you said, sister. Keep in mind, the good brother Jay Bay has been reaching out to Todd. He's been exposing Todd. He was exposed this past Friday. This past Friday, he literally, suddenly now, he knows about the Sayaraha and the Wazir and the rudder and sextant and okay, well, why haven't you ever spoke on that?
Islam, that part.
Why haven't you never spoke on the Great Council? It came out of your mouth. That means you know about it. Oh, we cannot be reinventing the wheel. What wheel? What wheel are we reinventing? Because the Great Seal Association is exactly that. It's not a state. If anything, we're carrying on the torch. Somebody please mute your mics. If anything, we're carrying on the torch. We picked it up where y'all dropped it. Y'all just left it there. Just wrote the book. You even told us that the legislative branch has the power to ratify treaties and just left it like that. JB had to come and pick up the torch and say, all right, Moses, this is what it is. And this is where we're at. But to make it clear for the good brother on the call early, just a minute ago, no, we don't teach literature and internet in this statehood movement. We teach strictly international law, well-settled principles of international law, right? If we're using case laws, then we're using case laws from the International Court of Justice. If we're seeking to force decolonization, where should we take them? To the Supreme Court of the United States of America, or should we be taking them to the International Court of Justice? The answer to that will be the latter. How are you going to gain remedy in their courts? By the way, didn't Prophet Noble Drew Ali say to stay out of their courts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought he did. Well, how you stay out of their courts? Because consular courts takes precedent over the any U.S. court. Any and all of their courts is subordinate and inferior to consular court. Any dispute between us and them shall be settled, and it must be settled, and it should be settled in consular court. Not their Supreme Court, which is why their Supreme Court case laws has no value to us. Where's our Moroccan case laws? They don't exist. It's starting to grow now, though. Oh, it's starting to grow. As of the date of depository, or should I say, as of the date of our several public inaugurations, plural, it set up a new status in Morocco. Prior to that, it was the subjugated status of Moorish subjects. As of each and every one of these public inaugurations, right, we now became nationals. All right, let me get through this table of content real quick. Liberty is chapter 6, liberty. So what's the first few chapters? The state, right? Sovereignty of the state, the various aspects of sovereignty, characteristics of sovereignty, Austin's theory of sovereignty. So it starts with the state before you even gain any sovereignty. Or even liberty, general meanings of liberty, natural liberty, the law of nature, natural rights, the meaning of rights, rights against the state. Chapter 7, liberty, again, continued, civil liberty, particular rights, political liberty, national liberty. Chapter 8, right, law, definition, the source of law, the various kinds of law, development of modern law in the West, law in British India, law and morality, international law, history of international law, the sources of international law, the League of Nations, the universal state. This is a book that we need to be reading. If we're going to be reading books, put down, what's that book, Pimenta Bay,
Yeah.
Othello and Othello's Children in the New World. This is what you read. Citizenship, the meaning of citizen, the acquisition of citizenship, the duties of citizenship. Chapter 10, the Constitution of the state, Moors, definition and classification, the merits and demerits of constitutional types, creation and an amendment of constitutions. Want to learn how to write a constitution? Check out chapter 10, section 3. Or petition the WRC and we'll give you one for free. How you like those apples, oranges, and watermelons? Whereas all you got to do is copy and paste it onto a Word document, change the seal, put your seal on there, change the name of the state, put your state on there, and you got a constitution suddenly, just like that. You ain't got to reinvent the wheel with the WRC. You need a Declaration of Independence. No worries, we got that for you. Ratify all that, deposited with the United Nations, promulgated with the United States and the governor of the state that you have reclaimed, and you're now sovereign and independent. You come into the WRC, you get recognized by the WRC as a recognized state, you work with the WRC as erga omnes parties to now take the United States to the International Court of Justice under a declaration of intervention to force decolonization. This is where we're at with it, Morris. Be a part of it. The form of government, classifications of Plato and Aristotle, other classifications, monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy. oh, democracy is evil. Well, democracy is actually the due process of electing your officials in a republic form of government, which is for the people, by the people, of the land. But we got away from monarchies. We have gotten away from aristocracy. We're now in the modern states are now set up as democracies. Oh, the democracy is a platform for the Europeans to practice their evil works as demons. Because look at the word, it says demo, which means it's the demonic. Shut the hell up. Excuse my language. I'm getting frustrated here.
Take your time, boy.
I can't stand it, man. We've been led astray.
I know.
I'm with
Islam.
you.
Islam, I have a question. Chazio Bay, what is the WRC? What does that mean?
The acronym for it stands for the Wazir Regional Council or the Wazir Regional Convention. And the purpose of it is multifaceted. As I just mentioned, it's for all the states to come together to take the United States to court, which, by the way, was established by the several states and blessed by the legislative branch, which is the matriarchs, the women, the mothers of the state, right? The other purpose for it is through the trusteeship council to assist other Moors in non-self-governing territories to establish their states and decolonize those regions, those territories under what's called uti possidetis juris, right? That deals with borderlines. The other purpose of the WRC is that it acts as a placeholder for the empire, and which for us is going to be the United States. So all of our states are coming together, right? United States of Morocco. So the United States of Morocco is the actual entity or the empire that will be sitting at the Security Council of the United Nations. So we're building up to that through the WRC. Does that answer your question?
Islam, thank you.
Chapter 7, theory of the separation of powers, right? Statement of the theory, criticism of the theory. Obviously, some of these we may or may not get into. The electorate. I can't even, I've never was able to say that, like the electorate college and legislature. Theories of representation, important. Electoral districts, methods of voting and problems of suffrages, indirect election, length of office, and instructed representation, the qualification of representatives, the legislators, modern methods of this direct legislation. Moors, these are the things that we need to be studying, the executive and judiciary. So chapter 14, should I say chapter 13 and chapter 15 is covering the 3 branches of government right here in this book. Are you serious about your liberation? Get with the knowledge of international law, study the treaties, the Moorish treaties, and I would even add to that, study this book. The meaning and appointment of the executive, plural and single executives, the tenure and organization of the executive, the civil service, and then B, the judiciary, meaning of judiciary and judicial appointment, organization of the judiciary, the relations between the judiciary and the legislator, and between the judiciary and the executive, administrative law. Then chapter 15, party government, the meaning of political party, party division, and the merits and demerits of the party system, the modern party system. Chapter 6, should I say 16, federal government, the various types of union between states, international alliances, international administrative unions, personal unions, real unions, confederation and federalism, right? The United States, as it is today, as of 1871, domestically, is a federal corporation, municipal corporation. They have labeled themselves as such. But on an international level, they are an international organization or an intergovernmental organization, no different than the WRC. So back to the brother's question about what's the WRC? The WRC is the United States. What you see in the United States is what you will be seeing in the WRC, which will eventually become the United States of America. I'm sorry, the United States of Morocco. You see how you see how the United States move around the chessboard, just like the Queen does. They go to and fro nations, they go to and fro planet Earth, devouring nations. Well, the WRC has the authority and the power to go to and fro planet Earth, uplifting nations. How you like those apples, colonists? Everything that they do, we're doing, but the opposite, with the opposite energy. We're mirror imaging what they're doing, but we're bringing to the people through that process love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the upliftment of fallen humanity, whereas they're bringing the opposite.
So the corporation, it won't be a corporate then.
No, because the Wazir Regional Council was not established within the jurisdiction of the United States. It's an international organization. It's a different structure. It is no 501c3 LLC, none of that, because it's not under the jurisdiction of the United States. It was established. It was established by the several state governments.
Very good. Very good.
Islam, the government of dependencies and colonies. Okay, so what are you talking about? Dependencies and colonies. So, for example, the Indian reservation is a dependency state. What are they dependent upon? The American laws, American jurisdiction. They're under the jurisdiction of the Americans based on the treaties that the Indians signed with the United States, and they call the United States their great father. Okay, well, our Moroccan states is the ultimate authority, the ultimate jurisdiction. The United States is a dependency state under the Moroccan state. The Indian reservation is a dependency state under the United States, but then the United States is under the jurisdiction of the Moroccan state. Several layers of jurisdiction and dependency status. Right here in Morocco, all at one time in real time as we speak. So AMPAG is the sovereign authority over the state of Georgia, but then state of Georgia is the sovereign authority over whatever Indian reservation. But both of them fall under Moroccan law. You see that? Survey of colonial policy, classification and government of the British dominions, imperial federation, the end of the state, individualism, criticism of the individualistic theory. The end of the state, continued socialism, criticism of socialism, the true end of the state, classification of government functions. The government of Britain, historical, the present system of government in the United Kingdom, local government. See, different things that we can study. The government of India, historical, the crown and secretary of state, right? 23, the government of India continued, the central government, system of government in the provinces, system of general administration, judicial system, local government, the native states, right? Then they go into the government of France, historical. So obviously we're not going to read all of this. Well, you also got the government of the United States of America, historical, the federal government of the United States, the government of the states, local government in the United States, the government of Germany. So they're going over the government of Germany, Japan. I mean, it's giving you all the reference points to understand statehood, Morris. So we'll go into chapter 2. I downloaded it. Let me pull it back up. This is the seal for the Wazir Regional Council, for those who don't know. This is a document I was putting together. It's just a receipt. This is a piece of legislation that I'm working on. This is some more WRC stuff, man. I'm at work, man. I'm working too much. All right, go into my folders here. Where did it go? Where did I put it? Study material. Principles of Political Science. Chapters 2. All right. Can I get a reader? Is there someone that will be willing to help the good brother read?
Islam.
Oh, there's always a matriarch who speak up on that. That's interesting.
That's why they're gonna lead.
Well, before you begin reading, sister, let me speak on this real quick. Are we all familiar with, and I've said this before, are we all familiar with the cover of the 101s?
Yep.
Yes.
Wasn't the prophet carrying the mother out of the cares of the world onto the rock of salvation?
Yes.
So he's stepping out of the cares of the world, admiralty law, American jurisdiction, and the colonist laws, stepping onto the rock of salvation. How do you spell Morocco? M-O-R-O-C, rock, right? So the Prophet Noble Ali is stepping out of American jurisdiction onto Moroccan jurisdiction, following along the Treaty of Madrid, Article 15, Paragraph 1. Any subject of Morocco who has been naturalized in a foreign country must choose between the entire submission to the laws of the empire. So he's choosing the entire submission of the laws of the empire. He's saying, okay, I'm stepping out of American jurisdiction onto the rock of salvation, and in doing so, I'm carrying the mother. That's exactly what we're doing with these Moroccan states. We're stepping out of the American jurisdiction onto the rock of salvation, carrying the mother by placing her in her proper place as the legislator, and she's the legislator only.
Islam.
No men, no matriarchs are allowed.
Go ahead, bro.
No men and no matriarchs are allowed in the legislative branch. I mean, no men and no patriarchs, I should have said, are allowed in the legislative branch, while at the same time, a matriarch can be any other part of the, can take the office of any part of the government.
That's chess. Once you queen, she can go anywhere on the board, right?
Well, not in that structure, right?
Okay.
The queen, that would be a matriarch. That would be a monarchy. If the matriarchs can do whatever they want within the state. No, they're limited to the legislative branch, but the legislative branch is where the laws is written. So the laws come from you. You are the lawgivers.
Islam.
And we enforce those laws. But the wazir, we've got one recognized state, which is AMPAM, and then the other one is a non-member state at this point, which is Ante, New York, both of which have matriarchs as the head of state, prime ministers, wazirs. In fact, AMPAM, Alodia, Moroccan, Palladium, Ante, Michigan, their entire three branches are matriarchs. The Sayaraha, the Speaker of the House for the legislative branch, is obviously a female. The wazir is a female, and so is the chief judge. This entire movement is carrying the mothers, is bringing the mothers along with us in their proper place as the legislators. They are the ones who signed the birth certificate. Specifically the Sayaraha, the Speaker of the House. She signs your birth certificate, or your certificate of live birth, I should say, right? Let me not confuse and scare the Moors with these terms, because these terms are is part of the indoctrination. I don't care if it says birth certificate. What does your legislation say that a birth certificate mean? It might mean something in the U.S. jurisdiction, but what does it mean in your jurisdiction? You define what the hell it means.
Oh,
that's the power. You define what it means. But the mother signs the birth certificate because she's bringing you back into life. So her signature is symbolic to bringing you back into full life as a national out of subjugation. This is the principles and the concept and what we're doing with these states. A lot of Moors don't really realize the details and the depths of what we're doing here. But no worries, that's what AMPAG Media is for, is to help you all gain that understanding. Islam?
Islamism. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We appreciate y'all, especially when you actually take the time to check those boxes to establish your state. It goes from appreciation to straight love.
Absolutely.
Help me love you and establish your state. Okay, what a state. Okay, if you're in California, hold on a second, brother. If the sister's in California, if this is the sister Chung, then you need to get with Vida California. That's a state in California, by the way. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yes, I'm in California as well. And also, can you put in the chat this book so that we can all profound it and find it and possibly get it and begin teaching from it, learning from it. My mistake.
Someone please put that in the chat. I can't do that and operate the Zoom and follow. Someone else need to do that for me.
Islam, this is Sheikh out of Vida, California, Wazir. Y'all can check in the chat. I put the VC Media, and we'll be in contact if you want to discuss statehood in California. We need as much good Moors as we can get. Islam,
we coming because it's a bunch of us.
This is the Haji, Minister of Foreign Affairs from California. So I'm here listening. Yes, we welcoming you all. Islam.
Wow. Be the
Islam.
California. They got an excellent seal. They got an excellent flag. They got they also completed their you guys did your public inauguration, didn't you?
Islam, yes, we have. You know, and we still
You guys
push.
are-
We
So
still
current,
organize, but we definitely need more Dali Aziz, and we definitely need a whole executive branch. So as long as we're the build right now. Islam.
no worries, no doubt. So they have got past the political group forming status, and now they're non-member states working towards now becoming member states of the WRC.
Islamism. I know that's right.
That's the progress. That's the process. Okay, so these are the boxes that we've got to check in order to get to where we need to get to as member states of the WRC. So, with that said, sister, may you please go ahead with the reading, starting with chapter 2, the nature of the state. We're listening.
Islam. Chapter 2, the nature of the state. 1, definition of the state. Before attempting to define the word state, we use in political science, we must first dismiss a certain number of verbal ambiguities which arise chiefly from inexactness of everyday language. The word is often used indiscriminately to express a general tendency or idea. Thus, in phases like state control, state railways, state education, it indicates the collective action of the community through government as contrasted with individual management. In state regulation and state management, the word state is used where, strictly speaking, government should be used. In the phrase church and state, the organization of civil power as distinguished from religious power is indicated. As indicated. Again,
Islam. Hold right there.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, I'll be cutting you off from time to time to touch on some things that we're reading.
It's all you. Go ahead.
In the phrase church and state, the organization of civil power as distinguished from religious power. The organization of civil power as distinguished from religious power is indicated. So that's the difference between the divine and the national movement. The divine side of the movement is the religious power. The national side is the civil power. The civil power is based in what? Your state. Church and state. The Vatican and Italy. The temple and a Moroccan state. So when part of the goal of AMPAG, our state here in Ante, Georgia, part of our goal is to bring the Moorish Science Temple of America under our protections outside of the United States, from the cares of the world into the salvation of Morocco, right? Moroccan jurisdiction, bring them under the protections of our state as the Moorish Science Temple of Morocco. Islam, continue, sister.
Islam. In the phrase church and state, the organization of civil power is distinguished from religious powers indicated. Again, we speak of the native states of India, the state of Prussia in Germany, the state of New York in the United States of America, the state of Victoria in the Australian Commonwealth. Not one of these uses is scientifically correct. One of the essential characteristics of a state is sovereignty, a characteristic lacking in every one of these so-called states. Unfortunately, no general name has found acceptance even in political science for these states, all of which
I'm sorry. Hold that thought. I'm going to highlight where you ended so you'll know where to begin. Okay. Where is my cursor? Okay. This is where you ended. This is where you'll begin. Okay. So look at what it says. Again, we speak of the native states of India, the state of Prussia in Germany, the state of New York in the United States of America, the state Victoria in the Australian Commonwealth. Not one of these uses is scientifically correct. Why do you think they're saying that? For example, the state of New York, they're utilizing an uppercase state. That's how they use it. That's how they do it, right? But it's actually a lowercase state. Why? Because it's actually a chartered colony. No different than state of Prussia. The real state, the organic state, is Germany. And the state of Prussia is under the authority of Germany. No different. So the state of Prussia would be an Indian reservation, and Germany would be the United States. You see, here's and this is what makes the difference. Let's talk about the state of New York. Why is the state of New York just a corporation or a charter colony? Is really what it is, but it's also a corporation, but it's a charter colony. And why does it, what does it say? So why is it scientifically not correct? Not one of these uses is scientifically correct. So why is it scientifically incorrect? Because the state of New York is not sovereign or independent. This is what it's talking about here, about sovereign and in the sovereignty and independence. The state of New York is dependent upon the United States of America. Why is that? Because their constitution was never ratified and deposited with the United Nations as an independent state. Their constitution is with the United States of America, the federal government. The state Victoria in the Australian Commonwealth. What is the real state? What is the correct state for that jurisdiction? Great Britain. So the state Victoria in the Australian Commonwealth is under the jurisdiction of Great Britain. Why am I saying this? Because unfortunately, and I'm not really trying to bash the brother, even though I mentioned it.
Love you talked about prophets, because I know I shouldn't be suffering on this.
You're off mute, sister. So therefore, this is why the United States of America Republic lacks the proper authority, because it's under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. The real America, United States of America Republic, which it doesn't exist, right? But let's say the United States, the international organization or the municipal corporation, USAR is under that jurisdiction. One of their brothers on YouTube, his name is Dexter Bay. He had got pulled over. You know how Moors like to, put their business out there on YouTube. He got pulled over by the police, right? And he made the point to the police that we are a charter organization. This is what he said. Gave them their license or whatever. He gave them their state ID. They ran it or whatever they did, and they came back to the car and they said, "Yes, sir, you're good to go. You're free to go. You're right." It's a charter. A charter is not a sovereign state. So I'm not bashing him. This is the truth. He knows this to be the case. Dexter said it in that call, in that encounter with the police, and he was let go. But the problem is with USAR is that USAR has many provinces across what you might call the United States. Well, if you deposited the Constitution with the state of Illinois, then that authority does not extend to the state of Texas. Did you deposit it with the state of Texas as well? So the Moors in Texas that's under USAR are standing on the depository of the state of Illinois. Those are two different jurisdictions. So if you want to stand on the state of Illinois' depository of your Constitution, you need to take your butt to Illinois. But here in Texas, our government ain't recognized that, not even as a charter. So slap these handcuffs on, you're going to jail. You see, this is what's happening. Again, no disrespect to them. We're just using that as a reference point to identify where our misconceptions are at, where we're doing things wrong. Things need to be, if we're going to be sovereign and independent, we have to do things on an international level. And it's not that we're depositing anything with the United Nations, seeking their recognition. That's another incorrect concept. What we're doing is making them do their job, which is to now take your depository, which is your Constitution and your Declaration of Independence, and transmit it to all the other member states on planet Earth, which is 193 of them, including the United States. So thus far, we've got, I think about 10 to 12, 11 deposited constitutions. That means that 193 states know about, including the United States, through the United Nations, they know about all these states because the think about it, part public law is to put things on note, put people on notice. Imagine having to put 193 states on notice. That's what the United Nations is for. The United Nations do it on your behalf. So 193 states, including the United States, are aware, very well aware of the WRC in all of our several states, because the bylaws of the WRC was also deposited with the United Nations. And it was also sent to Joe Biden. And there's a video of me as the chairman of the WRC reading a proclamation to President Biden, as well as denouncing Unami Buffalo Nation.
I'd like to see that video.
Go to class 101.
All right.
It's in class 101 of AMPAG study sessions.
Point of
All right.
privilege. I
Yeah,
just want.
that's interesting.
Two people talking, one at a time.
Yeah, Kendon Bay, I just want to add in, like, with understanding this information, I don't know if y'all remember in the beginning of the call, the chairman, he was speaking about J class, speaking about to protect the person, and speaking about how, you know, you can't really get them for international violation of international law unless you're in that status. So you got to create the status. So once the status is created, it might seem like it's a ticket, but it's really extraterritorial jurisdiction. So like with that same thinking, knowing, okay, I gotta be on a protected person list so they can violate the state, and then, you know, the state can adjudicate. But just that thinking a process, like that's how it works. A lot of time we just try to think straightforward, but you got to go back in time, go forward in the future to understand this information. That's why when he was talking earlier, the average person, when they read this information, they not thinking about the date. Who is the party? Who is in control at that time? They just trying to read the information. But if you reading with this type of perception, when you understand this information, you'll start catching on. I also want to add, like when I came in this, I wasn't just really big on Noble Drew Ali. Like I knew who he was, but I was really kind of past the religion thing, just period, anything from that aspect. But I understood what he was saying. But I use it as an example because when I came into statehood, I got an opportunity to read the FBI file of Noble Drew Ali. But due to my competence at GRU, I can just read the literature and I know what the agents was looking for. They would go into the temples and just see if they seen the flag, the American flag on the left and had the Empire flag on the right. They knew what was going on psychologically. So, you know, it was things like that that they did, you know, with the literature too. If you look at the literature, just like, you know, Moorish American, it's no way, you know, if I was to create a law or create any type of legislation or a resolution, whatever it may be, it's no way that I would add that verbiage in there based on my competence of international law. So, I mean, you know, it's that perspective too. Like the chairman say, you got to use common sense, but sometimes it's not so common. But that I yield.
Gratitude, Wazir. Somebody else had a point of interest?
No, I was just saying that was interesting when you mentioned study session 101, because I had that on my homepage.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's in there. It's in 101. All right, sister, you may continue. I'm sorry about that. Unfortunately.
Islam. Unfortunately, no general name has found acceptance even in political science for these states, all of which are only units or parts of a state in the scientific sense of the term.
See what it just said? You see what it just said? Read that again, sister. Unfortunately, continue.
Okay. No general name has found acceptance even in political science for these states, all of which are only units or parts of a state in the scientific sense of the term.
Read that one more again for me, please.
Okay. Unfortunately, no general name has found acceptance, even in political science, for these states, all of which are only units or parts of a state in the scientific sense of the term.
Exactly. Continue.
The word province might be employed, but as yet, it has not found favor. And that, I was trying to make sure it wasn't moving. And present the double use of the word state continues in both scientific books and popular language. At the outset of his studies in political science, the student is warned to note this confusion. Finally, we wait. Finally, we have to bear in mind that there is the juristic meaning of state in international and constitutional law, which regard the state as an artificial person with definite rights and duties, as distinguished from the natural person or ordinary. Wow.
Go back and watch at study session 112. He touched on that.
Okay, 112.
Juridical persons versus natural persons. So we say, well, the state of Alabama is a corporation. Well, you know, in international law, it's a juridical person. But it's also a trust territory, non-self-governing territory of the Moors, of the indigenous people. So an artificial person is a juridical person, and a juridical person is a person, and a person is a state in international law. Hold that thought, Moors. Let's hit the reference point. You got to have reference points. I don't know why my computer's acting up. Okay, no worries. Let's go to the what year was it? 1986, 1933, Montevideo Convention. So this is the Montevideo Convention that came out in 1933, which lays out the instructions for what a state is. Or actually, am I looking at the right one? I might be looking. I need to look at the law of treaties. This may not be it, but it is. It should be it. Which article was it? The state. There it is. A state as a person of international law. The state is a person in international law, Morse. The state as a person in international law should possess the following qualifications: A permanent population, B, a defined territory, C, government, and D, capacity to enter into relations with the other states. So our states all have permanent populations. I'll go into that a little deeper in a second. B, we also have a defined territory. That's your uti possidetis juris, the entire borders of that territory that you reside in, right? A government, that's your 3 branches, and capacity to enter into relations with the other states. So we all of our several Moroccan states have entered into relations with our several states, with each other. So when it says a permanent population, that doesn't come with a number, does it? It just says a permanent population. So there's a Moor out here that's seeking this, you know, kind of teaching the same information a little bit, but not really. He doesn't go into the proper details. But he would tell you that unless you have 1 million people, then you don't have a state. That's nonsensical. It lacks political legitimacy to even say that. And he loves saying that something lacks political legitimacy. To hell with it, Abdullah Bey. Well, if his ideology is saying that it requires millions of people, well, okay, let's qualify that. AMPAG has taken over the jurisdiction that was previously known as State of Georgia. State of Georgia has, I think, 5 million people within the state of Georgia. Well, if we take over if we reclaim the territory, the trust territory, commonly known as the State of Georgia, chartered colony State of Georgia, then that means we also take over control and authority and responsibility over their citizens, which means just like that, we also have 5 million people. Show you how. This is the Act of Algeciras. Let's go to Article 1, what is it? 102. Let's go to 102. Keeping in mind that AMPAG has taken over jurisdiction of the State of Georgia. So right here, Article 102. It states, every confiscation, final penalty must be imposed on foreigners by consular jurisdiction and on Moorish subjects by Sharifian jurisdiction. So if every confiscation final penalty must be imposed on foreigners, that means that all foreigners fall under our jurisdiction, doesn't it? Which means that all the foreign Americans, and not just that, but also the Moorish subjects that are checking the box black in the jurisdiction of the state of Georgia, they all fall under our jurisdiction, which means that's our permanent population. So we literally have 5 million people. This is what you all must understand. When you take back control of a territory, you take back control of the citizens as well. Not take control of them, but you have authority over them. All right. Where was I? I hate having to do this. I don't know what's wrong with my computer. It won't. I'm sorry, Morris. Let me help. Let me work this thing out. 1 second. I got to close out all this stuff. These are all bills and stuff. I'm working on so many different things. It's crazy. All right. Back to the, okay. What was I here? No, I was not there. This is where I'm at. Right here. Okay. Oh, I know what I got to do. My bad, Morris. I got to go on the proper tab. Here we are. I'm sorry. I'm all confused. I got so many tabs up because I do a lot of work, man. I do a lot of studying. All right, continue. We have already.
Islam. We have already seen that political science is a particular branch of the science of society or sociology. Society is composed of a number of individuals living together and entering into relations with another. The state is a type of society regarded from a definite point of view. Social relations vary, and of these political relations form one class. It is with these that we are concerned in political science. The political life of man lends color to and borrows color from his other social activities. The political relation, however, does not either sum up or control the other social relations of man. Political order is one of the several orders. You're moving. Where you go?
I know, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to keep you. You got to follow with me. We got to work with each other on that one.
I know.
If I don't do that, then we're gonna run out of what you got to say, and we're gonna do that anyway. So, how do you prefer for me to do it? For me to wait for you to get to the end, and then I'll move it, or is it okay for me to move it as you're reading?
You're okay. You're okay. I'll work with you. I'll work with you.
Okay.
Political order is. I'm gonna work with you. Okay.
No worries.
Political order is one of several orders: social, moral, religious, and its distinguishing characteristics is the state, with its visible human institutions of laws and government. Definitions of the state are as numerous as are the books written on the subject. Quoted below are a number of modern definitions given by writers from various points of view. The first two are by well-known English lawyers, Holland and Phillimore. Holland defines a state thus: a numerous assemblage of human beings, generally occupying a certain territory, amongst whom the will of the majority or of an ascertainable class of persons is by the strength of such a majority or class made to prevail against any of their number who oppose it. Phillimore says that the state, a people permanently occupying a fixed territory, bound together by common laws, habits, and customs into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government independent sovereignty and control over all persons and things within its boundaries, capable of making war and peace and of entering into all international relations with the communities of the globe.
Hold that thought. That second definition, is that not what I just read with the Montevideo Convention?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's go back and look at what these two authors said, and there's more, right? Holland defines the state does a numerous assemblage of human beings. There's all the nationals coming together to enact their constitution, generally occupying a certain territory. In this case, we are occupying AMPAG jurisdiction, which is the former trust territory known as the state of Georgia, amongst whom the will of the majority, why the will of the majority? Well, because it's based in what? Votes. the majority wins based on their votes. So that makes it fair. If you fall in the minority, hey, it is what it is. Everybody else says they wanted to go in this direction, and so now, as a government official, I have to follow. Or of an ascertainable class of persons is by the strength of such a majority or class made to prevail against any of their number who oppose it. Phillimore, so Holland said that one thing. Phillimore said something else, right? Which is in line with the Montevideo Convention. A people permanently occupying a fixed territory, bound together by common laws, right? So when we say these are municipal laws and these are federal laws and these are corporate laws and we're not corporate persons, okay, well, where's your jurisdiction so that you can establish your own common laws? You want to enforce common laws on the colonists, but you're subjugated to them. You can't do that. It's out of sequential order. You got to establish your state to then establish your own common laws. That's your legislation. So what is that really saying? It's saying what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. It's time now for us to worship under our own vine and fig tree and our own tongues to confess our own. But if you come under your own vine and fig tree, that means you're coming under your own protections of your own state. And your laws is the concept that he's saying when he says every tongue must confess its own. That's our laws, our legislation. Habits. What is our habits? Put our hands over our hearts and we say Islamo, right? Customs, our fezzes, our turbans, etc. Into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government. That organized government is your three branches that are independent sovereignty. It says independent sovereignty and control over all persons. So we have independent and sovereignty from the United States, and we have control over or authority over our own people, and not just our own people, like I just pointed out in Article 102, Moorish subjects and foreign Europeans, foreign Americans. That's the more correct term. They're not foreign Europeans, they're foreign Americans as it relates to the treaties. This from a descendant nature status. Yes, we know that they're Europeans, but the Americans is an American, or the Americans or the original Americans who came here in the beginning. They were a conglomerate of several different European states. They're expatriates of several European states, Great Britain, Germany, Russia, etc. And they all came together, right? Just like it says here. They all came together on a fixed territory, bound together by common law, habits, and customs, into a body politic. And they established their sovereignty and independence from who? Great Britain, by being accepted by the Sultan of Morocco. Islam, same difference, same thing. Now it goes on to say, capable of making war and peace, and of entering into all international relations. What do they mean by that? Entering, acceding to treaties, you being a contracting party to these treaties. If you feel as though your government officials require diplomatic immunities, then you accede to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Immunity, diplomatic relations of 1963, 69, 61. I don't recall the year. So that's how you enter into relations. Also, dealing with other states, which means entering into treaties with other states, or becoming a contracting party, signatory party to an already existing treaty, which is what we've done by what's called accession. You'll learn all that stuff through the WRC for free. Islam, you may continue. Let's see what Bluntich, let me go back up so you can see. Let's see what Bluntschli, the German writer, has to say about states. Go ahead, sister.
Okay. But Bluntschli, the German writer, says the state is a combination or association of men in the form of government and governed on a definite territory, united together into a moral, organized, masculine personality Or, more shortly, the state is the politically organized nation, person of a definite country. Sidgwick, the well-known English writer on philosophy, political economy, and political science, says that the state is a political society or community, says that the state, community, a body of human beings deriving its corporate unity from the fact that its members acknowledge permanent obedience to the same government, which represents the society in any transactions that it may carry on as a body with other political societies. This government, he says, is independent in the sense that it is not in habitual obedience to any foreign individual or body or the government of a larger whole. Professor Burgess of Columbia University, New York, one of the greatest modern authorities, says that the state is a particular portion of mankind viewed as an organized unit. Willoughby, another recognized American authority, says that the state exists wherever there can be discovered in any community of men a supreme authority exercising a control over the social actions of individuals and groups of individuals, and itself subject to no such regulation. President Woodrow Wilson says simply that the state is a people organized for law within a definite territory. These definitions do not agree in all details. Some of them are given from particular standpoints and are open to criticism on certain points. They contain, however, all the essential ideas necessary to the definition of the state. The state is a concept of political science and a moral reality which exists where a number of people living on a definite territory are unified under a government which is internal, which in internal matters is the organ for expressing their sovereignty, and in external matters is definite of other governments.
Is independent of other governments.
Excuse me, my apologies. Is independent of other governments.
All right. Go back to it.
Reread it.
Okay. No, hold on. I'm reading. The state is a concept of political science and a moral reality which exists where a number of people living on a definite territory are unified under a government which in internal matters is the
Ain't got no
organ.
DJ and stuff.
You gotta mute your mic, brother. Whoever that is.
People just out here.
Mute your mic. Mute your mics, please. Are unified under a government which is internal matters is the organ for expressing their sovereignty, and in external matters is independent of other governments, i.e. sovereignty and independence. I wonder where they got that from. Let's find out. Everything boils down to the Moors, man. It always has and it always will. Back to the Act of Algeciras. Let's go back to the top, the preamble. Excuse me, I apologize for this scroll. Where are we with the preamble? Am I going too far up? Right here. Okay. Sister, begin reading here. You may go ahead. Inspired. Ooh.
Which one is it?
Right here.
Inspired? Okay.
Right here.
That's inspired? Uh-huh.
Yeah, inspired.
Oh, inspired, okay. Inspired by the interest attaching itself to the reign of order, peace, and prosperity in Morocco, and recognizing that in the attainment thereof can only be effected by means of introduction of reforms based upon the triple principle of the sovereignty and independence of His Majesty, the Sultan, the integrity of his domains, and economic liberty without any inequality.
You can stop there.
Okay.
You can stop there. That's what's called the triple principles of Moroccan law. And that's the three phases that all of our states are going through. First, you establish your sovereignty and independence. How do you do that? Your flag, your seal, your constitution, your declaration of independence, etc. Packaged up, deposited, ratified the constitution, deposited with the United Nations, put the United States and the governor that you're reclaiming on notice. You just established your sovereignty and independence. The next phase, integrity of domains, that deals with your laws, your legislation, the enforcement of those laws and legislation, etc. Your national trust, your paperwork, your nationality paperwork, your state IDs, your license plates. I just gave y'all I just showed y'all our license plate by accident. Where is it? I closed it out just a minute ago. This is our state ID. This was created by Hakeem Bey, and he created this website too, by the way. And the brother Jazz, right? Is it here? Oh, where is it? I just showed it to you all. Where did it go? Or it might be in the, it's in the other tab, I believe. I'm all over the place. Where is my daggone tags? Should be around here somewhere. I just showed it. It just came up when I was minimizing some of these. Okay, I'll show it to you from this perspective. So this is some legislation that I'm working on. This legislation, as you see here, it says Freedom of Movement, Travel, and Commute Act. Right? Take it to the top and try to scroll it up. So this is the header. House of Dalil Aziz, bill number such and such, 823.004. Be it enacted by the House of Dalil Aziz for the law cited as follows: Freedom of Movement, Travel, and Commute Act. Right? With our seal on it. So I'm still working on it. It's still work in progress. But guess what I'm gonna put on there? I just pasted it on there. Our state ID as reference for their law enforcement to know that this is what our state ID look like, and this is what our tag look like. And they will also know because it will be placed on this legislation. And then, so let me read the preamble, or should I say the first paragraph, real quick before we get back. But because what I'm doing here is showing you in sovereignty and independence and integrity of domains. So this right here represents the integrity of your domains. So it goes, whereas series 008, bill number 823.004 recognizes the receiving state of Alodia Morris Palladium, Ante, Georgia, as its protected former Moorish subjects and Moroccan nationals, the human rights and freedom of movement, travel, or commute, etc., across the Empire of Morocco, and particularly within the Uti Posidated jurisdiction of the state of Alodia Morris Palladium, Ante, Georgia. In dealing with the foreign United States of America, the foreign United States Intergovernmental Organization, the Chartered Colony State of Georgia, any other foreign chartered states, municipalities, organs, and agents, or other foreign states throughout the empire of Morocco shall adhere to this legislative act and enact policies and procedures for all law enforcement agents, sheriffs, deputies, highway patrol, and police officers to follow and implement when encountering a Moroccan national or government official under protections by the receiving state of Alodia Morris Palladium, Ante, Georgia. That's just the first paragraph, right? So that gives you the direction and the spirit in which we're going with this particular piece of legislation or bill. And we're going to put them on notice with these two instruments, our license plate and our state ID. So now they'll know. This is what's called integrity of domain. This is the process. This is part of it. And these are the things that you will learn. And then, so what was the third principle? So he says sovereignty and independence, integrity of domains, and then economic liberty without any inequality. So what does economic liberty without any inequality look like? What does that represent? Well, that represents decolonization, economic liberty. So that means now we have access to our vast estate, meaning that now the colonists, they now have to pay taxes. Why do they have to pay taxes? Because the same document, the Act of Algeciras, said so. Where does it say that? Okay. Right here. So That would be Chapter 4. Chapter 4 of the Act of Algeciras states, right? A declaration concerning a better return of taxes and the creation of new revenues. Economic liberty without any inequality. We're millionaires. Millionaires. They got to pay taxes. And that's where you come into economic liberty without any inequality. All of our states will be marching into economic liberty without any inequality simultaneously at the same time, because it's based in decolonization when we get back from either come back from the ICJ or the United States international organization, right? Settles out of court without having to go to court. Okay, Morse, you guys are right. I see what you're doing. My bad. Can we fix this? Let's get into friendly relations. Let's negotiate something here, Morse. Please, we don't want to go to the ICJ. Okay, no worries, colonists. Let's talk about it. Where's your taxes? Let's start there. In fact, also, we got some people in jail that don't need to be there. How about you set them free? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what decolonization looked like. Islam? All right, let's continue. Where was I? Because you know me, I'm all over the place here. I'm sorry, Morris. I got so many things going. Okay, we was over here. All right. So we already covered that basis. Now let's go on to the next section, which is section 2, the essential elements of the state. Go ahead, sister.
The essential elements of the state are thus, first, a number of people or population. Second, a definite place of residence or territory. Third, an organization unifying the people or government. And fourth, supremacy in internal matters and independence of external control or sovereignty. It is obvious that to have a state, which is a human institution, a population of some kind is necessary. No state can exist in an uninhabited land, nor can they be any state if there is no population beyond a single family. The family may be a center round which the state grows, but till there is a series of families there can be no state. It is impossible to fix a definite number of men for a state. In the modern world, we are familiar with states in which the populations vary from 5 million to 300 million. Huge states of the modern type were quite outside the range of the old Greek ideas, where the city-state was the working ideal. The city-state in population was about the size of a small modern municipality. The idea of Aristotle, the philosopher of the city-state, was that neither 10 nor 100,000 could form a good state. They were both extremes. Many centuries after Aristotle, Rousseau, the French philosopher who lived when vast estates of many millions existed, thought the 10,000 the ideal number. Both these writers considered small numbers essential to good government. In the small world, other principles such as federalism, empire, and nationality are the determining factors in the size of the state, while the perfection of government, which Aristotle and Rousseau thought attainable only with very limited numbers, is now secured by what is known as local government. In the modern world, the population of states varies greatly, from the few thousands of Monaco to the many millions of Russia and the United States. No limit, either theoretical or practical, can be laid down in this respect. Without a fixed territory.
Hold on. So that's the population. Now we're going into the fixed territory. So we just you've seen the different views from Aristotle to the other philosophers as it relates to the amount of people. So when we establish our state, Morris, like for example, one of the requirements from the WRC is that you have at least 3 people. Personally, I'm not crazy about 3. I prefer 5. But ultimately, the minimum that you need is 3. Why is that? Because you have 3 branches. You need 3 people to cover those 3 branches. One of which has to be a matriarch, because it would be she represents the legislative branch. Then you got the head of state, and then you got the judicial branch. So you start off, so you establish the sovereignty and independence of your Moroccan state with 3 people, for example, but because you're taking back control of a trust territory that was once yours in ancient times, the people of that territory also become your population. So if you're taking back Texas, and there's 20 million people in Texas, then you got 3 Moroccan nationals and 20 Americans and 20 million Americans and Moorish subjects combined. That's the beauty of the approach that we're taking. Why? Because the difference in us and everyone else is that the people, the entities that are colonizing us are cohabitating with us right here within our jurisdiction, within our territories, within our borderlands, within Morocco. So when we take things back, and maybe that state may only have 3 actual Moroccan nationals, but they have 5 million Americans and Moorish subjects as part of their registry, as part of their population, their permanent population. Islam, I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know. Continue, sister.
You ready?
Continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Without a fixed territory, there can be no state. The Jews, for example, did not form a state, so they definitely settled in Palestine. Conversely, the Huns of Attila, in spite of their prowess and their leaders, broke up because they had no real fixed territory. Nomadic tribes, which wander from one part of a country to another, cannot form a state. As in population, so in territory, no limit can be laid down. States exist today with areas varying from 8 square miles, as in Monaco, to about 9 million square miles, as in Russia. Small states, though they benefit by being compact and easily governed, are at a great disadvantage in matters of defense and resources as compared with larger states. Unless guaranteed by larger states, small states are liable to invasion and annihilation by greater and more powerful states, as shown by the fate of Belgium in the Great War. In very small states like Monaco and Guatemala, the resources are insufficient to give their citizens the fullness of life and development which larger states can afford. Their disadvantages are similar to those of small scale as compared with large scale production. The older writers on political science almost universally condemn large. Oh, shit. Your thing broke up off my thing. It wasn't your fault, it was mine. Almost universally condemn large states because of their unwilderness. To govern well a wide stretch of territory appeared quite impossible to them. 2 things have completely altered that point of view. First, the rapid development in transit, trains, steamships, the telegraph, and aeroplanes. And second, the development of local self-government. In the wider sense, as in the British dominions, with the responsible government and the states of a federal union, and in the narrower states, the narrower sense, as in municipalities, counties, and districts. No principle can be laid down as to size of a state. Size, moreover, is no index of the greatness of a state. Russia, a huge state in respect of size, is not so great as the smaller France. Great Britain is vastly more powerful than many states, 10 times her size. There are many elements connected with territory.
Hold on 1 second. Why is it that Great Britain, it says, oops, sorry, doing too much. There are many other, what is that? Great Britain is vastly more powerful than many states, 10 times her size. Well, why is that? Because they have colonized so many places.
Colonization. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's why. Continue, sister. Where were we? Where did we leave off? Okay, let's start right. Let's start at the bottom, the last paragraph, the last sentence here. There are many other elements. Are you there? Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
I was actually reading. I was muted because I had muted myself when you were talking. All right. Islam. Just out of respect. All
All
right,
good.
now other elements connected with territory, which make for greatness. Climate, the temperate of the people, geographical configuration, and natural resources are all important factors in deciding both the size and the greatness of a state. That climate has an important effect on development of states, may be judged from the fact that the highest political development of the world has been reached in the temperate zones. Extremes of both heat and cold affect the physical and mental constitution of the individual and also the natural resources of a country. Extreme cold, as in the Arctic regions, make the struggle for existence against nature so hard that the political life is only a secondary consideration. Extreme heat, as in the tropics, lead to luxuriant vegetation, ample and easily obtainable food, and the enervation of the people. Climate extremes, climatic extremes, whether of heat or cold, tend to produce a fatalistic outlook on life, which weakens the mainspring of effort. The most energetic political life in the world, for these reasons, has been led in the temperate zones, though with the growth of education and in the advancing control of mind over matter, the people living in the areas of climatic extremes may develop as surely as though more slowly than those in temperate zones.
Okay, hold that thought real quick. So now we understand one of the reasons why the North Gate is so powerful and so desired by everyone. That's why it was called the land of milk and honey. Because here in this land, we're in a perfect location, whereas we don't deal with too extreme. The cold is not too extreme and the heat is not too extreme. Yeah, Chicago can be hell in the wintertime. And yeah, Texas can be hell in the wintertime, in the summertime, right? But when the climate changes, like for example, I'm not 100, you guys can correct me, but I'm thinking in Chicago, when the summertime comes, they're able to grow crops yet again, right? This is where Benjamin Banneker comes into play because he put together the almanac so that farmers can have a guideline for growing crops based on the weather, when to plant, when to start harvesting, etc. So that's one of the reasons why this territory is so desired and why the United States became so powerful. Continue. You're on mute, probably.
Oh, here I am. Okay. And where are we at?
Geographical configuration.
Islam. Geographical configuration is also important to fixing the areas of states, as well as giving a peculiar cast to the character of particular peoples. A glance at a map of the world will show how the areas of many states are fixed by boundaries provided by nature, such as the sea, mountain chains, and rivers. Geographic unity is an important predisposing cause to political unity, as shown by Great Britain, where neighboring nations, clearly marked off from the rest of the world, joined to make one state. One of the chief bases of the future unity of India is the complete self-containedness of the country, bounded as it is by the sea and greatest mountain ranges in the world. In the past, many states or subdivisions contained in India were marked out by natural boundaries, such as mountain ranges, rivers, and deserts.
Okay, hold on real quick. See, we're talking about nature, not colonialism. So we got two types of borders, right? As you see here, one borderline is based in nature, rivers, water, bodies of water, mountains, etc. However, what year was it? The Berlin Conference in the 1800s. They carved up Africa. Africa was just one vast land. So during the Berlin Conference of 1800, all these European states came together and they basically literally carved up, created all these invisible borderlines and gave each other all the different territories. Okay, England, you or Great Britain, you got these territories. In France, you've got these territories. In Spain, you've got these territories in Africa got colonized in that regard. So now when many of the states gained their independence and forced decolonization in the 60s and 70s and such, this is where uti possidetis juris came into play. So they couldn't come in and take back control of the entire African continent as if it was in the past without any borderlines. Each one of those states that were colonized and each one of those borderlines that were created, each one of those non-self-governing territories had to come into their own one at a time. Now, if and when they become successful with creating the United States of Africa, that means then that they have totally decolonized Africa. They've already completed or followed the instructions of the uti possidetis jurisdiction, right? Those principles based on the borderlines. But now all 50 or 55 of those territories have been reclaimed. It's now the United States of Africa without the influence of any European powers based on colonialism. Now they can erase the borders again. Same thing we can do over here. Moors Unami Buffalo Nation was trying to take over Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. We was like, no, that violates the uti possidetis jurisdiction. Their concern was that there weren't no borderlines back when we were in power. True, we will get there, but first we have to follow the strict sense. We have to crawl before we walk. All the Moors have slept and the world moved on. And they started carving up our areas. Now, based on international law, we have to come back based on those borderlines. Once we decolonize all 50 colonial states, then perhaps at some point down the line, we can erase the borderlines and just make it one great empire. But we have to start somewhere. And we have to start where we fell. And that's just the bottom line, whether we like it or not. Understanding that either way, we can regain our power as the Moroccans of the land. Islam, continue, sister. Geographical conditions.
Geographical conditions have also had much influence on the creation of states. In the valleys of the Nile and the Euphrates, for example, the early Egyptians and Assyrians pitched their camps where nature provided the best conditions for a settled life. Geography also helps to determine the activities of people. Rome, for example, became the greatest empire in the old world, largely because of her geographical position, which gave her access to other countries by sea. The maritime activity of Britain is explained by the very favorable geographical position she occupies in Europe. England, France, Spain, and Portugal, from their natural positions, have been the greatest. I'm waiting on you.
Oh, well, I can still see it, but okay. Having this great discoverers, colonizers, go ahead.
The great discoverers, colonizers, and empire builders of the modern world. The geographical position of states.
Let me, I gotta stop right here. Maybe modern world, but not in the world of ancient times, because the original discoverers and colonizers and empire builders were the Moors. How did we this empire? By colonizing our own other people in their states. Because remember, there was a time when it was only us here. There was no international law. We were just doing things as we felt that we needed to do, as we saw fit. So we went colonizing all of our brothers and sisters and cousins and such. So when we colonized all those areas, it became the empire. No different than how the Great Britain became the empire that they have become by colonizing other areas. They're just following along with what the Moroccans had already done prior to their very existence. We've been doing this kind of stuff, and that's part of the reason why we fail, and why now today we got to come back as a modern state and make sure that we don't violate the human rights of anyone, whether it be our own people or anyone else, any other nationality. We have to come back into love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We have to love instead of hate, right? We can't keep going around taking people's properties and territories and such. We've been doing that. The Almoravids, there's documentaries on the History Channel where it talks about the Almoravids and all the areas that they had conquered. They conquered vast areas in North Africa. Not what, probably in the 1500s, 1300s, something like that. No, earlier than that, actually. But we've been doing that nonetheless. Continue, sister.
The geographical position of states also largely determines the policy of their governments. England, the United States, and Japan are at present the greatest mercantile nations of the world. They all have powerful navies to protect the shores, but their mercantile fleets. The very existence of England depends on her sea trade. Hence arises the necessity of the very powerful British Navy. Germany, on the other hand, used to be bounded on three sides by powerful states with no natural, let me see,
Natural defenses.
I'm saying, yeah, okay, I'm trying right. Uh,
You lost?
okay. Yeah, Germany, therefore, was a military state at the necessity for defense compelled her neighbors also to support large armies. Germany also has a fairly large seaboard, and her ambitions were to dominate the world. She therefore built a powerful navy, but her geographical position, especially in relation to Britain, made that navy of little value in the Great War. Where nature provides defenses, the energies of the people can be turned into the channels of peace. Not of the best are the sea and mountain ranges, though with the new war, natural defenses are becoming less important with the advance of invention in transportation, irrigation, and drainage. Geographical configuration as a factor in development is becoming of less importance as compared to ingenuity of man. Resources in cereals, minerals, etc., have frequently determined the size of states. National strength in the modern world rests on national wealth, and such wealth depends on the character of the people of the produce of the land. Desire of the national expansion often arises because of the lack of some important mineral, such as coal or iron. In modern warfare, the possession of these minerals is indispensable for both defense and attack. Country also determined in its economic activity, and economic activity reacts quickly on political life. Discoveries of new wealth lead to immigration, exhaustion of old wealth to immigration. Wealth excites covetousness. Covetousness leads to wars of plunder by the stronger on the weaker. On the weaker. Besides, besides geography and natural resources, the chief influence in deciding the size of states has been policy. Rulers from personal ambition or a patriotic idea of aggrandizing their own nation have, though conquest treaties and or occupation enlarged the boundaries of their own states, usually at the expense of other states. The many elements which enter into policy, such as empire, nationality, and desire for natural resources, are matters for the student of history. The whole range of political history is a commentary on them. Number 3. For the existence of the state, government is necessary. Government is the organization of the state, the machinery through which the state is expressed. A people settled on a definite territory cannot constitute a state till some political organization has been formed. The organization may vary in kind and complexity. Government is the organization which shows that the essential relation of command and obedience has been established. Wherever there that is confirmed, whether it is a vast organization like that of the United States or in the simple tribal government of the Australian Aboriginal, their government exists. The government is the organization of the state, the organ of unity, the organ whereby the common purposes with which underlie that unity are definitely translated into practical reality. It is the focus of the common purpose of the people. As Professor Giddings says, the state is the chief positive organization of civil society. Government is the outward manifestation of the state, and as such, is the organization of the common purposes of the people. It is the organ of the community. Number 4, the fourth characteristic of state is sovereignty. This is the supreme element of statehood. It differentiates the state from all other social organizations. Other associations exist which can claim a number of people with separate territory and a governmental organization. But there is only one association which has all these elements and sovereignty. That association is the state. Sovereignty, in general terms, means supremacy. The state is supreme in both internal and external matters. This sovereignty is expressed through government, which is supreme in internal matters, and independency as regards external. The subject. You went to.
I did. My bad. There we go.
Islam. The subject of sovereignty is discussed separately in a later chapter. Population, territory, government sovereignty are thus the essential characteristics of the state. Several other essential characteristics are given by writers, but most of them are implied in the above 4. Professor Burgess, for example, gives all comprehensiveness, exclusiveness, and permanence as peculiar characteristics of the state, with sovereignty as the most essential principle. All comprehensiveness means that the state embraces all persons and associations of persons within the given territory. Exclusiveness means that there can be one and only one organization of the state. Both these are essential to government and sovereignty. As we have explained, permanence means that whatever the form of government may be, the state always continues to exist. Governments change from time to time. At one period, government may be monarchical in form. At another, democratic. One government may be subdued by another or disappear by being.
Real quick. So you see, it said governments change from time to time. At one period, government may be monarchical. I can't pronounce that. It's a monarchy, right?
Right.
In form. At another, democratic. What is democratic? It's just basically the due process of hiring electing your representatives. So why were we taught that the word democracy was evil? See, we've been misguided and misinformed in such a nasty way, Morris. We have been sold out by those that we may call master teachers and such, and leaders and ministers and sheiks and governors and reverends and Sharpton and Farrakhan and oh God, they will see their day in court under Moroccan law. Continue, sister. One governor may be subdued. Somebody's got.
I hear noise in the background. My apologies.
Yeah.
One. Hello.
Yeah,
It's
we're
loud.
here, but I think you've got some noise in the background.
Yeah, it's loud.
Okay. Well, go ahead and try and see. But if the noise continues, then we'll just switch up readers.
Okay, no problem. One government may be subdued by another or disappear by being absorbed by another, but mankind must continue to live within a state. The state is essential to the being and well-being alike of man. As Aristotle said, it arises from the mere necessities of man's existence and continues to exist for the sake of the good life or for the well-being of man. Permanence, therefore, does not mean that this or that state continues forever. So long as this or that state satisfies the above criteria of the state, it does continue permanently. There is an English Constitution maxim which says the king never dies. Though the king.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, we're just gonna talk. Though the king dies, or the term or the form of government changes, the state is continuous. Individual states do disappear, but their disappearance is only the disappearance of a type of government, not of the state as such. The state is permanent throughout, as permanent as the human mind, the unity of which it is the fundamental expression.
Okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
That's the Empire of Morocco. The king never dies. The king never dies because if the personality who is sitting in that office dies, guess what? That office still continues. It has to be replaced. Someone else must take that seat. In our case, for example, the Sultan became the king of the kingdom of Morocco and left the government void of the three branches. However, the treaties are still in force and in full effect, which means it never died. It's just in a coma, the empire is. And it's just really a matter of the Moors coming back into statehood and reestablishing, reactivating the empire by reestablishing its three branches. Same thing with the United States of America. The United States of America is in a shallow grave. Why is that? They put it there when they adjourned sine die and established the United States International Organization, or should I say the Municipal Corporation, which is a power of attorney to the empire, or should I say to the United States of America. So you've got these patriots out here that mobbed the Capitol on June 6, 2020, 2021. Those people want the republic back. Well, guess what they can do? Reestablish the three branches of government for the de jure United States of America. That's the party on the contract of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. So this is right. It never dies. It's always the people got to reactivate it. If indeed it goes out of commission, right? If indeed it ends up in a shallow grave for whatever reason, the people always have the ability to resurrect that particular state. The seats must be filled again. So the king never dies because the seat never goes away. Queen Elizabeth died, her son took over, didn't he? I yield. Islam, continue, sister.
Bluntschli, in common with many other writers of a similar cast of thought, says that the state in organic, that it is a moral and spiritual organism, and masculine. These are allegorical descriptions corresponding to particular points of view from which the state may be regarded. They are not
Islam. Real quick. Not correct. Or at least perhaps maybe in their society, but not in our society. The state is not masculine. The state is feminine. The state represents the matriarch, represents the mother, right? She gives birth to the nationals, and she also protects the nationals, right? She establishes the three branches. She's the one who says that which comes from the, he's the one who's that the head of state is the wazir or the prime minister or the president, whatever the case might be. That's the eldest. Who's the second eldest? The legislator. Who is the third eldest? The judges, the judicial branch. She identifies all that stuff. It's not masculine in nature. That's a patriarchal concept or mindset as it relates to this particular book. It's matriarchal, or at least as it relates to our ancient customs. Okay. Islam, continue, sister. These are allegorical descriptions. Moors, you gotta mute yourselves, Moors. Come on now. Help us out. Continue, sister.
These are allegorical descriptions corresponding to particular points of view from which the state may be regarded. They are not of the essence of the conception of state. In fact, we shall see in our analysis of the organic theory, they may be expressions of mistaken points of view and theories. German writers distinguish two meanings of the word state, the idea and the concept of the state. The same is true of the word society, which, as Professor Giddings points out, means both the individuals entering into social relations and the union which results. According to the Germans, the concept of the state is the result of concrete thinking. It refers to the actual political types of history. Among these types, there is one common element or essence, that is the state. All actual political types, present, past, and future, have this common essence embodying the idea of the state. The distinction is that of the state as it is as a matter of organization and the state in general, differences of organization being left out of account. Some writers, as Bluntschli and Professor Burgess, regard the idea of the state as it ought to be, i.e., its final completion or perfection.
Islam. We're gonna end there.
Islam.
Right in a beautiful spot. State, government, nation, nationality. That is
Look at that.
That is an incentive for all y'all to come back next week.
Oh, we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here.
Well, I appreciate that, and you're more than welcome to come. I definitely look forward to you all coming. So, we will continue this reading next week. In the meantime, it's 10 o'clock, and I'm trying to be mindful of the time. So at this point, what I like to do is open up the floor for Q&A, comments, concerns, questions, whatever the case might be, from all of you beautiful people on the line. I yield.
Islam. It was a beautiful session, beautiful class. I loved it. This is so interesting. I just would like to get clear on the states that have actually become Moroccan states, if that's okay.
Okay. What clarity are you seeking?
I just want to know, because I know there's some states that are mid, and there are some states that have actually completed the process.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just wanted to know which states had actually completed.
Okay, those Vice President, are you on the call? Would you like to take that question?
Abdul, I can for the most part for now.
Well, you may do so since you spoke up first. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so I'm going to put them to the sister in, I think, the most order in which they were completed, in the most synchronized order in which they were done. So we have AMPAG, Allodial Moorish Praedom, anti-Colorado. We have New Mecca, which is anti-Oregon. We have AMPAG, Allodial Moorish Praedom, anti-Georgia. We have Meru State Republic, anti-Indiana. We have Dimti, Metis, Ilorim, Morocco, Prayers, Texas, anti-Texas. We have AMPAM, Allodial Moorish Praedom, anti-Michigan. We have
Pause right there, good brother Nasik. Excellent. That is the sequential order. In fact, I think AMPAM comes before, Dimti comes before, or AMPAM comes before Dimti.
Okay, correction.
I think, but that's not the point for me interjecting. And I'm gonna let you continue.
Sure.
But there's a reason why I'm interjecting. The reason why I'm interjecting is because those 6 states that he just mentioned, those states are recognized states, right? So we all have recognized each other, and the WRC has recognized every one of our states. So those are the 6 current recognized states, and there's many, many more coming online seeking recognition as well from one another. And he will continue to break down the rest. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, then we have Serum, Sakru State Republic of Morocco, anti-North Carolina. Ampani, Anu Manhattan Praedom, anti-New York. Then we have, forgive me, I haven't got the name for these 2 states yet, but we have anti-Illinois, anti-Florida, and then we have Vita California. So those are the 11 states. The six first will recognize each other, and the other 5 whom are still in the process of being recognized by the WRC. So they're still doing their completion of the checking the boxes. So as for now, those are the 11 states we have up and going, and hoping for other territories such as Kansas and Connecticut to be on board soon. Islam.
Excellent, excellent. So it's actually 13. You missed 2. Add these to your record or your notes. Arkansas, that's Tia Moria Republic, State Republic, Tia Moria, and Ontario, Allodium Morris Palladium, Ontario, and Powell. Those 2 are the other 2 that are who actually have, they're considered still political groups forming, who are still well. Actually, Arkansas has done their public inauguration. I don't think you mentioned Illini either, which is Illinois. They've done their inauguration.
Yes, I did mention Illinois, but without the name of the state. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, indeed. That's correct, brother. And so, yes, sister, those are the states. The first 6 are recognized, the others are seeking recognition. The state that's next up for their recognition, that's really not gonna, I mean, they're there. We just gotta, in fact, I'm not sure if they're on, but we're getting ready to put together the public inauguration for the Wazir of Serum, which is Sakaru State Republic of Morocco, who has now become one of the other the new Wazir of the Wazir Regional Council. So we got to do a public inauguration for him and put it on, promulgate that. So that's the next step for him or them. So basically, we're really at 7. The 8th one now is Ampany out of Ante, New York. They're almost there. They're going to complete. So Serum completed the first circle. I mean, the first cycle, the circle 7, the first 7 states. Ampany began the new cycle as the first state within the new cycle, but they're the 8th state overall. And then thereafter them, it's like he said, Ante Florida. Ante Florida's name is a new state republic. New Andalusia. New Al-Andalusia is the name of their state, Florida. State Ante Florida. They're coming on next. In fact, I got a meeting with them next week at some point. And then thereafter, it's there's so many that I lose track.
Vita California.
What was that?
Vita California.
Vita California, yeah, and they're on the call right now. I'm sorry, Vita California. They're on the call right now. So that's California, Ante California. So yes, sister.
Islam, we are here. Yes.
Yes, he's been communicating in the chat for anyone who's seeking to be a part of that state. Their contact information is in the chat. So yes, I hope I answered your question, sister. Thank you, brother Nasig. I appreciate you answering that question.
Islam Nova.
Point of interest.
Yeah.
Real quick. I've just put in the chat for anybody who is interested in creating a Moorish state and is in a territory that does not have a Moorish state can petition the WRC. I'll send you the petition. And I'm putting more information in the chat right now. The basic information that you can email me. That way I'll send you the petition. I heard somebody say that Connecticut was coming online, and I know that there's no documented information as far as who to contact. So if whoever the Moore said about Moore State for Connecticut, if you can email me this information that I'm about to put in the chat, and anybody else who's interested in starting a Moore State can do so as well. I'm about to put it here in less than 10 seconds. How you?
For the brother that was speaking, his name is Akil Bey. He's the president of the trusteeship council of the WRC. And I forgot to mention 2 more states. See, there's so many that's coming. They're coming. Oh, decolonization is is at the horizon. This thing is over with for the United States, Morris. Y'all might want to be a part of this. Alabama is another one. They're considering Alabama State Republic as the name for their state.
We here.
And what was that?
I said I'm here, Wazir.
Oh, Islam. This DJ Alexander.
Yes, sir.
Islam, good brother. Appreciate your presence.
Yes, sir.
Any more out of Alabama can reach out to him as well. And then outside of him or them, that political group forming, we also have Ohio. They don't have a name yet. They were thinking Aloysius Morris Palladium Ante, Ohio, but they can't really use that because the acronym is similar to Aloysius Morris Palladium Ante or Ontario. AMPAG. I think that's AMPAG, right? So they're considering a different name, and they have like 5 more over there. Alabama may have. There's 2 different groups who's coming together. They may have 7 or 8 people within their group. So yes, it's definitely happening. Islam, I yield for any other questions.
Islam family. This is Brittany Latrice Oglesby L. I'm in Georgia, and I have a few questions. I'm going to state that I really don't know a lot. I'm fairly new to it, and went through the process of I'm going to say becoming free, and now I think I'm a little lost about what's next. I don't know if anybody could reach out to me. I did send Akil Bay my information, and the trustee. I sent 2 different emails, but I just want to know what's next for me and a couple other sisters, in the group. We're just trying to get everything in order and figure out what's next. Thank you.
Are you
real quick?
Go ahead.
If you don't mind, Wazir. Just to clarify any confusion, there has been a new trusteeship council email similar to the last one. It's the one I put in the chat. So that is the official an up-to-date email to utilize. I also put my personal email that you can reach me at, but send everything to the email that's been put in the chat as of now. And as far as the actual steps, we'll take it from there. As far as scheduling the meeting, if there's 3 people at least, and we'll take it from there.
Islam. And the sister that was just speaking, however, you said you been in contact with Brother Akil's sister?
I just sent the email. I think the email I sent to Akil was my information, my name, territory, telephone number, email address. That's what I sent to him earlier.
And what was your name?
Brittany Latrice Oglesby L.
Okay, brother. Could you please take a note on that particular email and forward it to me if you don't mind, please? You said that you're in the territory of the Charter Colony of. Is that what you said, sister?
I'm sorry, I didn't get to hear. I thought you
I
waited
was
for me
speaking.
to.
Yeah, I was talking to you. I was asking if you were in. Hello?
Hello, did you hear me?
No, I did not hear you. Say that again.
The phone is in and out. It's a little wonky over here. I'm in Georgia.
Where in Georgia?
Northeast Georgia. In a town called Toccoa.
Okay. And how many people you say you had out there?
Well, it's me and my sister, and there's also another sister in Georgia. She's on here too. Let me see if it's April. April Oglesby is my sister, and then there's Jocelyn, and we're all in Georgia.
Okay, well, you're talking to the right person for the territory of Georgia because I'm the prime minister of Aloysius Morris Palladium Ante, Georgia. So I have Akil for me that email that you sent him, and I'll be in contact with you, or maybe not me, but our Razum of nationality. She will be in contact with you. She's the one who does the onboarding for government officials. So just so you all know, we're not taking any regular nationals. We got a lot of work to do. We need people that's willing to put in some work, roll up their sleeves and put in work. But there's enough people in our state that that where all the work can be spread about pretty evenly so that no one person has to do all the work, right? So look out for either my phone call or the Rosamond's phone call. Her name is Khadijah Bay.
Islamism. Thank you.
You're welcome, sister. Anyone else? You got 7 minutes because we're closing out at 10:30.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everything. I know the class that I brought over. I know we all happy. Ain't y'all happy, y'all? We finally found y'all. Listen, I see it is. This is the last call. Let's go for alcohol. Because I'm telling you, we got tired of this. I was exhausted. Spiritually, mentally, all of that. And I'm just glad that Allah saw fit for us to be here to get this information. I am beyond grateful. Really, seriously. So thank you for all the information that you dropped on us tonight. Because I'm telling you, it was one blow after another for me. I don't know about y'all, but
yeah.
It was conversation. It was so many things that just got answered because I've been blowing people out of water with. I've been blowing. What's his name? A seer Dicatuka tears.
Yeah.
I was ready to pop him like a whole zit, but because I was, you guys, because he was a friend of mine, like, you guys, I've been leaning Cosmo L, another one. I've been leaning on these ones for years. I mean, since like 2016, 17, and it's like you guys know this. You guys, I can't sit there and excuse and say, oh, he just didn't know. Y'all know. Y'all got books out. Y'all been doing this since the 80s, the 90s. Y'all know something. You just ain't saying. And if somebody would come in, well, I'm a governor of California. You a governor? Explain to me why my people are so hungry. Explain to me why the children are in the streets in cardboard boxes and why our people are still panhandling at the gas stations. If you're a governor, why you ain't did nothing for California? That don't throw no title on me, and you ain't did nothing for California. Because I'm a challenge. If you a governor, tell me something, teach me something, help me be better for the whole state, so we can help each other. If you're a governor, don't give me no title and you ain't did nothing. That's the worst thing you can do is tell me you a title and you ain't did nothing. So I'm glad that you all did something, and I'm glad that I can come here and say I know some real leaders for real. So thank you.
Yeah, guess what Cosmo L has just done? He just started a counselor's court.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. This is what
Sisters,
I'm saying.
let me make this here real quick. Not just the sisters, but by the way, wow, it's a lot of matriarchs on this call. Love you all. I'm in such appreciation that you guys are looking into statehood. We need matriarchs as part of this movement. But for you to establish a consular court without a state is out of sequential order. That's incompetent.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Constitution gives authority for the establishment of the court. If you don't have that, you don't have a court.
Islam. That's right.
Which means you're a self-appointed judge. You cannot be a self-appointed judge. In our jurisdiction, in our structure, our judges are elected officials by the people.
Yeah,
that's absolutely out of sequential order. I like to also make a quick point here. Everyone on the call, take a look at all the participants. Right? You see several seals. You see Maru State Republic seal. You'll see DEMT seal. You see our seal, AMPAG seal. You will see some of the new states such as Vita Californiae. You'll see Ampany's seal. Ampany's seal is beautiful. I'm jealous of Ampany. They got an awesome seal, but so does Vita Californiae. But everyone has nice seals, but I just love the way Ampany's look. You see Alanai State Republic as well. Matheno Bay. So these are some of the several states. Not all of them are on, but some of them are on, right? Islam. Let's just go with Iser Bay. Dalil Aziz says the Iser Bay. Nija from Ampany. I have a hard time pronouncing your name for some reason. I think it's
Islam is Najia Asir.
Nigeria, there we go. Nigeria, sister. Islam, welcome. I'm glad to see that you're on, sister.
Islam, sister. Islam
to all.
Islam.
Hey, what's good, Snake? Islam
Beautiful.
to you all.
Islam. So you'll see that all of these seals are from all the several Moroccan states. Some are recognized, some are not. But just because they're not yet recognized doesn't mean that they won't be recognized, and they will be recognized as long as they do as long as they follow the guidelines and policies of the WRC, which is not stringent. It's just really the customary norms of international law and certain policies that we've established, such as nepotism and things of that nature, based on experience that we've experienced in our several states and so on and so forth. But it's not, if there's anything hard about it, is one of the hardest parts of gaining recognition is that we require that you accede to like 33 treaties. So it's not hard work. It may be tedious for you to go through and accede to 33 treaties. But that's probably like the hardest thing to do. It's easy. We don't make it complicated or difficult, and we certainly don't make the requirements stringent. It's quite simple, actually, and you're part of the state, but it's all part of the WRC as an organized dual society, but it's dependent on your work ethic and how fast you're willing to check the boxes and get things done. But like, for example, Serum, they blew through everything like it was nothing, right? But we did run into a little hiccup based on some policies that we didn't have in place, and they were coming in during that time. It was a gray area. It kind of we encountered a little hiccup with Serum, but we fixed it. It's been cleaned up now, and the Wazir Aziz Han Obey is due for an inauguration now as the new Wazir of the Wazir Regional Council, representing the state of Sakharu State Republic of Morocco, which the Israel Bey, the Qazi of Serum, is on right now as we speak, as a matter of fact. Islam, brother, speak to the people. Are you there, Yisrael? You might still be on mute, brother. Or maybe he stepped away for a little while. Anyhow, so these are the separate.
Islam, I'm here.
Islam, good brother. You're the Qazi I was just saying, speak for the people. Speak to the people about, just say something good about Serum. Because you was quiet all night.
Appreciate that. Brother. Islam, family.
Islam.
Islam, mighty more.
Islam.
Right.
Islam.
You got the wrong fez on, bro. You need the black fez, brother. You're a judicial man. You're a judge now. You're a justice. Justice Yisrael Bey. You be wearing the black fez, just so you know.
Islam.
So yeah, this is the family, Morris. All these seals is family. Right? Whether they're in one of the three different statuses. Either your political group forming, which is the brother DJ Alexander that just spoke for Alabama, right? Ali Bamu State Republic. Then you got non-member states that would be like AMPAG right now for a minute until once they complete their requirements and they become member states of the WRC. So it's just three phases: political group forming, member state, non-member state, and then member state. We just get together and we go to work. We have meetings every Tuesdays and every Saturdays for the WRC Wazir Regional Council to discuss the direction, the different model instruments and policies and standard operating procedures, policies, resolutions. Man, we are at work. It's a lot of work, and we need as many people as we can that are competent to come in, roll up their sleeves, and get to work so that we can finally take down the big bad United States. And we're right around the corner, Morris, brothers and sisters. It's not too far out. We will be petitioning the United Nations or the ICJ to take the United States to court by the end of this year. And by the end of this year, we will probably have 20 recognized states.
Islam is Islamism.
I love that. That made me feel so good today. Thank you so much. That's a good end.
And here's the thing that everybody needs to understand, man. It's aside from everything being free, what we're teaching is what we're doing. So we're all in it together. What does that mean? If you fail, we all fail. If you're successful, we're all successful. We're all doing the exact same. There's nothing that we're telling you to do that we are not doing. Everything that we're telling you to do is what we've done. As opposed to the scam artists out here, they'll tell you to do, it's like a block of wood, right? They'll point the way, but they ain't leading the way.
My
So they'll tell
favorite
you to-
saying.
Exactly, coming from the prophet. So they'll tell you to do something, but they ain't like Bay, for example. She's been exposed for having a license plate on her car, but she tells everyone to call for our government contracts and don't have no license plate, but she got a license plate.
Tell it.
Don't stand in perpetuity.
That's crazy.
Don't stand in perpetuity. Stand on international law and statehood and the Moorish treaties. That's what you stand on. Talking about all rise, stand in perpetuity. Man, go sit down somewhere.
She do. He had me doing it. Daggone it. I want to snatch her up. I want to snatch a knot in her. I don't think I understand. He had me rolling with her heavy. I was like, oh, that was smart.
What about all that red in Latin? All that red in Latin.
That's not. I'm glad y'all asked that because in international law, there's two languages that are recognized that are utilized in international law. That's French and English.
Yep.
That's it.
French and English. Yep.
All this Latin, lowercase, everything in red and misspelled how you feel it should be spelled. They got a thing called a state called the Empire State of Morocco. That is so ignorant. It's an oxymoron. States are subjects to empires. So for you to name your state Empire State of Morocco, and by the way, they spell of with an OV because they're scared of the of and they're scared of the ish and all this crap.
Yeah, what is that? What is OV? I couldn't get that.
I don't know what it is. It's some light-based stuff. But what I'm saying, however, is that saying Empire State is like saying state country of Morocco or something. Like those are two legal personalities as it relates to the structure of the government. So you can't say you can't go off of the nickname of New York, the Empire State. That's just a nickname. But you don't name, you can't, that's an oxymoron, and it's like saying country nation of Morocco. or the Moorish, or the Moorish National Republic federal government. So national and federal are the same thing. The national government is the federal government, and the federal government is the national government. So why would you say the Moorish National Republic federal government? When you start understanding international law, it's like learning how to play chess. And the way the Moors are moving the pieces, they're moving it in the wrong way. They're moving the knight in a linear form. They're moving the bishops in as pawns. They're moving the queen like a king would move. They're moving the knight the way it's ridiculous. So when you understand international law and statehood and the structure of government and jurisdiction and such, you see clearly the silliness. See, our people, our Moorish American people, have given good content to people like Swindle Hoodwink and Truth Science 151. They got great content off the Moors, clowning the Moors, because it's silly what we've been doing.
Yeah.
When you say that you've suffered bumps and bruises from this old movement, I've been to jail because of this old paradigm movement. You ain't got no jurisdiction on me, sir, because you don't call them your honor, so you say sir, and you don't have no jurisdiction over me, and no, I don't understand the charges that are being brought against me, and I'm not that name. That's a nom de guerre. This is my name, and oh God. All it took for me to go to jail is one time, and I said, okay, hold up. Hold the press. Something ain't right here. And I fell back. And then I came across AMPAG study sessions, and it fueled me yet again, because I'm a warrior. But I'm not going to do stupid stuff.
Me too.
And so this is where we're at today. AMPAG study sessions has been a blessing to the Moors.
Islam, it sure have for me.
It has given us the proper concept and context as to what statehood and international law is all about, what sovereignty is, what jurisdiction really is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I highly recommend not only that you go back and watch this the latest class, which is class 112. Watch it. It is highly recommended. It is absolutely necessary. Jay is calling out everybody. He said, bring me on your platform. Any one of you who want to challenge this information, I'm ready. You just give me a call. Set it up.
Do that.
They ain't gonna do that.
No.
They ain't ready to, because the reference points cannot be refuted. You can't refute international law information with municipal laws or the Circle 7 Quran. No, there's got to be an intelligent argument. Apples with apples, oranges to oranges. What am I saying? What am I saying? If you're going to refute international law, then you have to come with some international law information that actually refutes it. You can't use United States laws and go against international law. That's crazy. But that's what they do. Roz Bay from RB Bay has done that with us.
Wow.
She keeps rejecting our information based on what the Circle 7 Quran says. Well, the Circle 7 Quran is not admissible in court.
Islam.
Let's have a legal argument, an intelligent legal argument here.
She's going to continue to reject because it's going to affect their funding.
That's the problem.
There you go. Bingo.
That's the problem.
Gonna hit those pockets.
You gotta always follow the bag. Always follow the bag.
Oh man, this is an excellent class. There's a lot of y'all. There's so many matriarchs. Brother Hakeem, you had a point of interest?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, as you were mentioning about these individuals or groups rather, we know the message of AMPAG study session and AMPAG study sessions are getting out because at least one showed up in the class earlier today, but they only stayed for like an hour and then dipped.
Wait, what class? You talking about this class here?
Correct. I ain't gonna name them, but you know.
Who you talking about?
I'll tell you off air.
Oh, okay, it's fine. Let's partake conversation.
Yeah, they know themselves.
He said they know themselves.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna watch the video later or come back with some kind of rebuttal or something.
Oh wow.
They better, whatever they rebut, they better rebut it with international law. Don't come to me.
Right.
All in Circle 7 Quran. Down somewhere. Or the prophet said, I love the prophet. I give honors to Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Without Prophet Noble Jew Ali, there would be no WRC, no J Bay, no Abdul Bay, no AMPAG, no none of that.
Right.
However, the prophet's literature and his words is not supreme law of the land. I'm sorry, Moors. Supreme law of the land is the treaties that was enacted by the royal government of the Empire of Morocco, known as the Moxin, on behalf of the Sultan. Period.
Period.
The prophet didn't come for that. He came to give us the other half that wasn't told. But before giving us the other half, he had to first start with our divinity, our national identity. You can't enforce Moroccan law if you don't know you're Moroccan. So you first needed to know if you were of the Moorish people, i.e. Moroccans, the Moors, to then come to the understanding that, oh, shoot, there's these Moorish treaties and Moroccan treaties that's giving us all this authority, and all we got to do is invoke it and do it in a certain way. Oh, I'm all with it. And that's what the prophet, everything that the prophet taught, especially as it relates to the other half that wasn't told, as he said himself, it never was for anybody from 1913 up until what, the 80s or something. Everything that he did in his mind, he was saying, my people will not get it today, but that's fine because this is not for them. It's for the third and fourth generation. He knew that his information was not going to manifest until the third and fourth generation. What generation are we in, Moors? The third and fourth generation of Moors coming in with our eyes wide open to put the old Moors in the back with that old paradigm information, that sellout information. We're putting all the old Moors in the back. Keep it in mind that old is not related to your age. Because we've got older people that have course corrected and see the value in this information. It has nothing to do with your age. It has to do with your mindset. You're stuck in an old paradigm and you won't let go. You could be 25 years old stuck in an old paradigm, but you could also be 60 something years old and course correct to the new proper information. Our Raslam, Khadijah Bey, that I just mentioned earlier, she is an older woman. She's in her 60s. And so is her consort. And her consort used to roll with the Great Seal and Taj and all of them. He has course corrected sins. He's all about the Moroccan states and the Moroccan nationality. So clearly it's not about your age. It's about your mindset. Islam?
Islam.
All right. Well, this was an excellent class, and we went past 10:30, 12 minutes past it. It's 12:42 more. Y'all can have me here till like 1 o'clock. It's almost happened before, but now we can't do that. We got to be mindful of the time. I got to get up early in the morning. I got things to do. I know some of you do too as well. So we got to close out, unfortunately. With that, I'll leave the floor open for one last comment or question before we close out.
One thing quickly here, Noble. There's a sister here, Noriko Lewis Bay. I think she's located within the Trust Territory of Illinois, and she is interested in getting in touch with the official there. Are there any ways in which she can be directed to any of the elected officials?
What the brother Akil Bey just mentioned, he put his contact information in the chat. He's the point of contact to assist Moors in all those areas where there's establishing their state or connecting Moors with Moors from different states and others who are in self-governing territory. So if you're in a state and you're not sure that there's a state there, then you can reach out to Akil or Camden, the vice president and vice president of the trusteeship council, and they'll be able to tell you and connect you to those Moors.
Islam, what about Pennsylvania?
Oh. Brother Aziz Hano Bey, the new and incoming wazir of the WRC, he's working with Moors out of Pennsylvania, so you may be able to join that group.
Oh, it's not
region. Go ahead.
I have family over there that runs about. See, my cousin's temple. He doesn't roll with the other temples. He's been like the the one on the side end of it, because he's a born Bay. His people walked. His great grandparents was with Prophet Noble Drew Ali, so all the way down the board, he was a born Bay. But anyway, he's got like a temple close to, all over the area of Pennsylvania that ranges up to about 4,000 people. So that's why, and I do be in touch with him quite often. So I'm just asking because I need to pass information, and he just called me while I was on this call right now. So just kind of reminded me to ask.
He reminded you to ask us to put him in contact?
No, he just called.
Okay. No worries. I mean, I was excited to think that, but I was excited at the notion that he was telling you to remind us or reminding you to put him in contact with us. Let me tell y'all something. We ain't got nothing against the temple other than the fact that it's sold out, but that ain't got nothing to do with the establishment of the temple that the prophet created.
You ain't gonna. It's not like that. This is different.
No, hold up. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not speaking about his in particular. I'm just speaking in general about the temples. But
okay.
The point that I'm making though is that one of the goals is to bring the temples under the protections of the Moroccan states. But it's up to the temples and the Grand Sheiks if they want to do it, you see? So if they're up to it, for example, the Consul General in our state, he is a Grand Sheik of Temple 43, like very active. He's always in meetings every Friday, all the Friday meetings and stuff. He teaches classes in the temple, but he's also the Consul General of the Moroccan state. He asked me when he first was appointed as the Consul General, he asked me, should he leave the temple and just focus on the state? I told him, no, stay in the temple, because eventually we're gonna course correct the temple and bring them into our jurisdiction as under our protection as the Moorish Science Temple of Morocco. And that's part of the goal of the WRC, to bring all the temples under the protections of their respective governments, which is the Moroccan governments. That now completes the divine and national movement. That's the church and the state combined together, Italy and the Vatican. AMPAG and Temple 43 of Atlanta, Georgia, which is now the Moorish Temple of Morocco. So when they say the Pope and them stole the idea from the prophet, well, qualify what you're saying, because you ain't doing it. That's what you're seeing in real time. The divine Vatican, and the national movement, national Italy. Does that not make sense, Morris?
Indeed, it does.
Yeah.
That's the direction that we're going. And we're not against the temple. We want the temple to course correct and become a part of the Moroccan government.
Yeah, but right now they ain't teaching the right stuff, so that's what it is.
So that Grand Sheik sister, if you want to put him in contact with us, again, the contact is in the chat for Brother Akil Bey. He's the main point of contact for the trusteeship system in terms of helping Moors establish their state or connecting them. Now, when you ask about Pennsylvania, yes, Aziz Hano Bey, the Wazir of Serum, is working with some Moors out of Pennsylvania, so he will be the contact for Pennsylvania. And please hurry up, let's get Pennsylvania going, because we need the Moors in Pennsylvania to stand up against Unami Buffalo Nation. It's only but so much that we can do. We've already denounced them. We have excommunicated them, and every state that comes into the WRC must sign the excommunication policy stating that they will not be in contact with Unami Buffalo Nation.
Who is that? Who is that?
Nobody. Rogue Moors.
A rogue organization.
I just keep hearing the name. I'm like, well, who is it? Because I don't know.
Is a group of Moors who sought the assistance of the WRC to establish their state. Originally, they tried to take over 3 territories at once, which is violating uti possidetis juris. They sought to take over Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. We shot that down. We rejected that. Told them to fix that. They went back to fix it, and now they're only taking over Pennsylvania. But the problem with that is that 4 of their government officials, 2 live in Delaware, and 2 live in New Jersey, 2 live in Pennsylvania. So the 2 that's in New Jersey, and the 2 that's in Delaware are operating outside of the jurisdiction of their state, which is in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
You got to be in the same territory. What does Joe Biden look like living in China, but he's running America?
Right.
Yeah, I feel you.
Called integrity of domain.
There you go. The integrity of their domain, there's no integrity in their domains. In fact, there's no integrity in that group of Moors, period.
Is that Yashin?
That's who it is.
Oh, okay.
Both of them. Sharon Tracy L. Bay and Yashirin Atasha L. Bay. Because she changed her name. Why did she change her name? Because there's too many people chasing her down for money that she owes.
Wow.
She changed her name and she changed her cell phone number. I know this personally by experience because I've had so many Moors reach out to me asking me for her contact information. I'll verify her contact information. They never have the contact information that I have. I'll give them the contact information that I have. They call her, then she call me or text me telling me, don't be giving out my information. And I will tell her, stop causing harm upon the Moors.
Right.
As long as you're bringing harm to the Moors, I'm gonna keep giving out your phone number. So you might want to change that one too.
Don't be crooked.
Don't be crooked. We're not going to stand for that over here at the WRC or in these Moroccan states.
Listen, when I knew that I wasn't doing it right, let me tell you something. I had to cry for 2 days. I had to cry it out because I've been going through this for a minute. And I'm like, you know what? Just when I think I had it good, and this was the last call for alcohol, as I call it. I had to go to my people and I said, listen, y'all gotta have a talk with y'all. We gotta meet up. And so yesterday we had that talk in class, and I said, here, this is what's up. I need to put all you guys on to him, let you guys go ahead and build on your territory where you at. And this will come back and we'll build individually with each other. But I gotta let y'all know I did it wrong. And I had to let them know, like, what I did was wrong, because that's the right way to do. That's the right way to do by Allah. You can't, if you are in a situation where you are teaching or whatever, and you find that you're wrong, you got to do the right thing by Allah to lead the people the way they're supposed to go, especially if you know the way. You got to do, you got to do that. Otherwise you be held accountable. And I ain't never been one to just maliciously. And that's why I told Allah, I said, I need you to forgive me because I didn't know. And if I did know, I wouldn't have did that. And that's why, I was like, well, dang, why? I had all these whys. I got my answers, but I had to go to my people and I said, I love y'all, but I got to give y'all this because this is where y'all supposed to be at. And the reason why y'all came to me, as I guess, so that I could find this and give it back to y'all. Cause I owe y'all this. Like, here you go, take this, because this is your freedom. You got children, you got husbands, you got mothers, you got siblings, and you need to be free. So, yeah, it was very emotional for me, this whole situation. Not just Sharon, but Light, Taj, what's his name, Cosmo,
Kufu, Temple 43.
Yeah,
We come out
all
of Temple 43, so out of Eureka, California. I know you mentioned a Temple 43, but we come out of Eureka, California.
Islam.
Yeah, and it was a horrible experience.
It was horrible.
Well, hold on, everybody. Real quick before we go, I want to make this. I put in the chat the link to the AMPAG Media Telegram group.
AMPAG
You guys,
Media.
yeah, it says https://t.me whatever. That's the link to the AMPAG Media group, AMPAG Media Telegram group. In that group, I would post the Telegram or the Zoom link for this particular class, if I'm going to have it, or I would also let you know if I'm not going to have it, because sometimes I'm unable to. But the good brother Raphael Bay, or should I say Stanley Bay, who's on the call right now, he's going to be as I've mentioned earlier in the call, he's going to be the one who assists me in these classes. So whenever I'm not able to make it, he'll be the one to be able to make it, or we'll be doing it together. However, but either way, by those means, we'll be able to maintain the consistency in these classes, because sometimes I'm not able to make it on Sundays. So if you want to remain informed, that's the main. I'm not as active as I was in that group, but I will get back to the activity of that group when I settle some things going on with my state and my own personal life, because I got a lot going on. So I make a lot of sacrifices to make sure that these classes get done, and to make sure to bring the Moors together into statehood through the WRC and the Trusteeship Council. So please be patient with me. But that's the link for you to be able to have access to the Telegram group, so you'll be up to date to whenever we're having the classes or anything that may take place. All the other Moors who established their states, they'll post the link to their public inaugurations in there. It's active. So you guys, you don't need me. You guys can communicate amongst yourselves and things of that nature. But I will be a part. I will get back into the activity of the group in due time. Just give me some time. I gotta get some things together. But that's the chat. I mean, that's the group. That's the link for the group. So please, click on it, join it. A few people have already joined it. Remember, everything is free around here. The only thing that we ask for is your time and your effort and your discipline to make this thing happen, so we can force decolonization. We don't need money from the Moors. We need money from the colonists. The money that we need from the colonists is what's owed to us. What's owed to us? Taxes and new revenues. Islam?
Islamism.
So that's where we're at with it. With that being said, Moors, let's close out. It's 10:45. I know you guys are itching to keep talking. It's actually 10:55. See, oh my God. I said 10:30 and now it's almost 11 o'clock. You guys are crazy. I love the Moors, especially the Moors who are competent, who sees the value in things and they want to move forward with it. So peace and love to all the matriarchs that's on the call. Special shout outs to you all. This is the first time in AMPAG Media's history that we had so many matriarchs. I've never seen as many matriarchs on. I don't know where y'all come from, but please keep on coming. I've had enough of these patriarchs. I need some matriarch energy on these calls, but nah. All jokes aside, I love the patriarchs as well, the brothers, the sisters. I love you all. Let's roll up our sleeves, get together. Let's not be like the crabs in the buckets that's pulling each other out back down and stuff, right? Let's be like ants, pull each other up.
Yeah, peace and love, Islam.
Islam. And so with that said, brothers and sisters, did someone have something to say?
Yes, I just want to let the Moors family know that knowledge is free with the WRC.
Islam, thanks for repeating that. Knowledge is the glass of clean water. So, peace, love, and light to you all, and may the blessings of Allah be upon you all. Islam, peace. Y'all be great.
Islam, peace and love, everyone.
Islam, peace and love.
Islam,
Islam, peace and love. Peace and love. Beautiful meeting.
Thank you, sister. Islam, more. Peace and love.